Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, September 19th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got Thursday night football, the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets, a AFC East matchup. And I actually think that this, game on paper may not attract a lot of individuals, but a lot of times on paper when a game may look like it may not be the most exciting, but when you end up actually watching it, sometimes more times than not, at least from the last few years on Thursday night, sometimes it ends up surprising just a little bit. So let's cue up into the music. We'll take a look at the thumb, and then we're going to have a kickoff in roughly 13, 14 minutes. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb, on the left, we got running back stud Ramondre Stevenson. And on the right, one of the best running backs in the world, Breece Hall. Let's go, baby. And like I mentioned multiple times on the stream, make sure you guys are taking care of your mental health. Addiction, depression, anxiety, these are things that not only I've gone through, but I know some of y'all are going through it now or have in the past. So if you're slipping into the darkness a little bit, make some minor adjustments to your daily routine to get back on track. If you're not exercising, exercise. If you're not eating healthy, eat a little bit healthier. Listen to 30 minutes of music every single day. You do these basic things. It'll help you get out of the darkness a little bit quicker, and it'll help you win the day. Let's go, baby. 1-1 New England Patriots, 1-1 New York Jets. I am ready for an AFC East showdown. And again, we still got a little bit of time here in the pregame, so anyone can get settled in. And again, grab your popcorn, get your snacks, and hopefully we end up, I don't think it's going to necessarily be a very high-scoring matchup. It could end up being like a 2017 game, 23-20. There might be a chance that one of these teams hits 30, but I don't think that you would get both if that were to happen, and if you were to guess if one team were to get to 30, it probably would be the Jets, Jets, at 30, and then maybe New England would be sitting at somewhere between 20 and 27 at that point. But I definitely think that the defenses are going to come into play. Yes, there's a few injuries on both sides, so they may not be full strength. But again, I am looking forward to this matchup. And again, fantasy purposes why, you might have Breece Hall, you might have Ramondre Stevenson, you might have Hunter Henry, you might have Aaron Rodgers or Garrett Wilson. But again, I'm a defensive guy, so I know we're going to get a defensive battle, but definitely I want to get a little bit of offense here tonight on Thursday Night Football. Let's go, baby. And congratulations to the Seattle Mariners for finally beating the Yankees 1 out of 3. We ended up getting the dub here today. And Shohei Ohtani, congratulations to him, the first player to get 50-50, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bags. But he had a ridiculous stat line, ended up hitting 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. Not only that they ended up beating the Marlins like 20-3 or 20-4. That's wild. I felt pretty good with the Mariners winning 3-2 against the Yankees. Dodgers said, well, let's put up a 20 spot, and they won 20-4 over the Marlins. Wild. Crazy stuff. DX in the building, what's good? Britt in the building, what's good? You got your jersey on? I know you do. Let's go, baby. Sarah in the building, what's good? And again, a lot of people are going to be picking the Jets, because of the offense and Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall and obviously with Garrett Wilson, and knowing that the Jets typically have a top 5 or top 10 defense in the last few years. But New England has owned this particular series. I believe, obviously, a lot of it has to be with the Bill Belichick era, so I get it. But I believe that they've won like 18 out of the last 20. So I know New England's going to play disciplined defense, and I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe some of y'all in the room would be shocked, and maybe others that are watching nationwide or globally. But I honestly feel New England will have a shot. to win this game. And again, if they can just be able to, set the tone early, and we know that they don't have a whole lot of weapons at the wide receiver position. So Ramondre Stevenson and company have to match what the Jets are going to be doing on the ground, and the defense has to be better than the Jets. And I know both defenses have been playing pretty good up to this point. So again, few injuries, as you can see on the screen. Jermaine Johnson, CJ Mosley is the big one that's out. Jermaine Johnson with the Achilles is pretty big too, but CJ Mosley is one of their leaders. So again, with him not in the lineup, that definitely is going to give New England a little bit of an advantage. And as you see here, Bentley is out with the shoulder. That's pretty big for them as well. So one guy obviously substituting for another, with Bentley and Mosley. But again, New England definitely has a chance in this game. I'm not sure if we're going to get a big Hunter Henry game. It's very possible like last week. And they may need to go to Henry 10, 11, 12, 13 targets, depending on if they feel comfortable with Jacoby Brissett and any of the wide receivers. And if he doesn't feel comfortable with any of those wide receivers, go to your check down guy. Hunter Henry is definitely reliable, and they might be able to sneak him into the end zone or get some big first downs to keep this game competitive. But I'm hoping it ends up being a close matchup. I don't want to see a blowout. Obviously, I know Patriot fans like Brett and a few others would love to be able to blow the Jets out on the road. But I just think based on the offenses, the showcase game on Thursday night, New England has been, dominant against the Jets many, many years. But this is a new era with a new coach. But again, I really do believe after watching the first 2 weeks and taking a look at New England, this isn't a team that necessarily is, oh my God, they're Carolina Panthers. They're in rebuilding mode. They're terrible. They got Jared Mayo. This is not going to be Bill Belichick. They don't have Brady. They don't have Gronk. Like, if you actually watch them play, they're not really scoring a lot of points, and it's fine, but their defense is pretty good. And I feel like if you sleep on them, you'll get punched in the mouth. And I feel that they're not going to get blown out that much this season. Like, they may lose games here and there by 1, 2, 3, 4, and occasionally by 6, 7, and 10. But I don't really see them getting blown out that often with that discipline, with that defense. They just need the offense to catch up to the D. And if they can end up punching the ball out from Breece Hall, getting a couple sack lunches on Aaron Rodgers, pressuring, obviously, guys like Garrett Wilson, they're going to have a chance, hopefully late, or they may be ahead, and they may have to try to hold on to the lead and see if the Jets can make that ferocious comeback, being down by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. We'll have to wait to see how the flow of the game goes. But again, I'm definitely excited about this matchup, and definitely has fantasy implications. I hope everyone is locked and loaded. I love you guys, and I appreciate you very much. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. We're going to be shooting for 20 in the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and then obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Yeah, crazy. I mean, who would have thought that? It's Shohei Ohtani, and anytime Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, do damage, it just seems like a record is going to be broken almost every single year out of those guys. Congratulations to Showtime, and obviously the 50-50 club is not something that you're going to see too many people achieve. And again, Jose Canseco became famous when I was a kid, obviously in the 40-40 club, and it took this long to get someone to get to the 50-50 club. And again, there's not really many guys that can hit 50 home runs besides Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani nowadays. So shout out to the Dodgers. I know my dad is happy. And again, they're definitely going to be in the running with the Yankees and a few others to make a deep run. Brett is excited. Did you finish up your fantasy draft? Normally, fantasy drafts are done before the season, but I guess you can do a draft if you're doing it with family once the season starts. It definitely makes it a little bit more complicated, like we talked earlier today, because when you do it before the season, you already know who's injured and who's not. But if you're doing a draft within the first week or two, you kind of have an idea, oh, God, okay, these guys are hurt, this superstar's hurt, this person's on the injured list, and we probably had more superstar injuries within the first 2 weeks, maybe in the last 10 years. I don't think I've remembered this many superstars being out for a week to a month or longer this early in the season. A lot of wide receiver and tight end injuries, as well as running backs, but hopefully we don't have any injuries here tonight. Let's go, baby. Captain Oreo, what's good? Gilbert is him, and it was just nice to be able to, get some base hits and get them, kind of going early in the matchup. And obviously, that's the Mariners. When we have Victor Robles, we win. When we don't have Victor Robles, we lose. So obviously, it was great to be able to see the Mariners, win at least 1 out of 3, even if our playoff chances are very slim to none at this point, or very minimal. We're still Mariner fans till we die, so we want to make sure that they finish strong. But you never know what could happen. I mean, look at the Tigers. They're kind of battling with us, and they were even behind us quite a bit. And now they kind of leapfrogged us, and they're in position now to not only take our spot, but they might actually make the playoffs. So it shows you it's not over until it's over, until we get to the end of the season. But again, you just got to be able to take care of business on your own, and you can't really worry about those other teams. But yes, I agree. Gilbert is him. Let's go, baby. Daniel in the building. What's good, brother? Captain Oreo with a $5. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. A little cactus jack. Bang, bang. $5 holla. 95 to go. Appreciate you. Anything that obviously will go towards the channel will go towards, paying the bills, taking care of Paisley. And not only that, they ended up raising, my rate, like I mentioned a couple days ago, for this streaming platform. Instead of being $25 a month, now next month it's going to be $45 a month. And I'm already, doing so many subscriptions, and I'm already paying like $100 a month for gig service on top of that. So it's like, anything that can be done, likes, subs, donos, comments, shares, things are just going up and up and up. And, I'm already working 150%. Now I got to work 200% to be able to make up for that extra $25 a month and whatnot. But, I don't know, what all these companies think, that everyone's just made of green and made of money. But it's definitely going to be a little challenging, for that bill to go up double, and it's not like I'm really getting that much more. I mean, I'm getting a black and white feature, a couple extra camera angles that I'm not going to use. They have a 1080p feature instead of a 720p, but again, to raise the rate almost double, pretty tough. And the only problem is that there's other programs that are out there that I could use, right? But you're still paying a fee, for those other programs. And also too, I want to make sure that I have the ability to do the photos for you guys, to have the ticker, to have a particular layout like this. And some of those other programs will not allow me to do that. So I'm kind of stuck. I'm going to have to pay the $45 a month. Obviously, if I want to be able to keep everything the way that it is. And I know some people will probably end up dipping from the particular service, thinking it's too expensive. I don't blame them. But if you are a full-time streamer like myself, it's just a sacrifice that you're going to have to make. So $5 holla, 95 to go. Appreciate you. STL in the building. What's good, brother? And obviously, I went back and went through some of the Saints reaction videos and the comments. And, out of all the comments in both week 1 and week 2, yours was probably one of the best. And with Kubiak coming in and obviously being coordinator, that's changed everything. And again, a lot of people still are not believers of the Saints and the Bucks, and it's still early. Even the Hawks are getting disrespected at 2-0. But I think as the season goes along, people will start to realize when you end up having a new head coach like the Seahawks with McDonald, or you bring in a coordinator like Kubiak and it's working compared to what happened last year and the year before, you never can underestimate rookies, a new coordinator, or a new head coach, because it changes the culture, it changes the vibe, and you never know how the players are going to react. And obviously, if they buy in to what the coaches are saying, then you're going to be able to take off. And that's exactly what the Saints, Bucks, as well as the Seahawks have done here in the first 2 weeks. So keep, posting those comments on there. And again, after this, obviously, matchup is over, I'll probably end up doing a reaction video to this, in the morning tomorrow, just to get a reaction video out there, even though it may not get a lot of views, but just to do it for the Patriot fans and the Jet fans and the NFL fans. And then obviously we'll go back, and I got to look at the schedule to see where we're at here for the Mariners. And we play the Rangers tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So that'll be the stream tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific. And let me take a look. And it's going to be George Kirby versus Jacob deGrom. So definitely looking forward to that. And I know Captain Oreo and a few of you guys will be there as well. And we'll grind it out, baby. Yes, sir. Too bad he doesn't really get a whole lot of run support, but today he did, and we ended up getting the dub. Thank God. He said, I'm getting that babysitting money. Amber in the building. What's good? How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope your health is good. I hope everything is going good in your life. Yeah, I got McCaffrey as well. We can always kind of go back and forth with rosters and whatnot. You have any questions, you're a smart girl. Obviously you follow the NFL, so you know exactly what to do. But you ever want a second opinion, you got plenty of people in the room, that are a part of our league. Or if you want to kind of just, compare some notes and whatnot. But again, in a family league, I know you're competitive. And everyone wants to win. And, sometimes you just got to be able to, get a guy, throw him on the bench. And, hell, we're already in, week number 3. So McCaffrey may end up being back here in a few weeks. So it's not like you're going to miss him for a month starting today. He's already been out for a couple weeks. So obviously anyone that has a player that hit the injured list or IR like Puka or McCaffrey, by the time, you draft your team and get everything going, you may only be missing that guy for 2 weeks rather than 4 or 5. So another in the building. What's good? Matt in the building. What's good? Like I said, if I had a choice, obviously with the first pick, and I knew that McCaffrey was hurt, I would have probably picked Breece Hall, and I probably would have went with like a Breece Hall, like Nico Collins kind of combo type of thing. But it all depends on what the other people do in your draft. So you're going to have to, play off that. But I do have McCaffrey. He's on the bench, and I am, thinking that once he comes back, as long as he doesn't re-aggravate it, that should be an easy, 15 to 20 points every single week. But some weeks he's going to hit 25 to 50. And, again, if I don't have Cooper Kupp and run CMC, that's like 50 points every week that I don't have. So I would be, projected at 130 to 140 every week, probably first place. But again, injuries are a motherfucker, and you never really know if those guys are going to be able to stay healthy. First down and 10 for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Shotgun set, trips left, play action fake. Patriots. Good tackle there. 5-yard gain to Garrett Wilson. But if you're looking for a player that obviously can put up similar numbers than Christian McCaffrey, I wouldn't go Bijan. And a lot of people had Bijan going in the top 3. I definitely think if you're not going McCaffrey at the top, definitely Breece Hall would be the way to go. Hopefully Breece doesn't get injured here tonight, or in the near future. But I think that's what most people would have done in that situation, unless you wanted to go for a high-profile wide receiver. Aaron Rodgers with the pump fake and a nice, intelligent slide. First down, Jets. Move the chains. I got all the sleeper picks. I know every player on every team and even the backup. So it just kind of depends on, what you're looking for based on each position. Plus, obviously, if you're doing, I don't know what you're doing, if you're doing ESPN League or if you're doing something else. Yahoo, there's like 3 or 4 different leagues you can do. NFL.com, Yahoo, ESPN. First down and 10, Rodgers. Mike Williams with the catch. $10 holla, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. AK-41 has been very, very good as well. Probably wouldn't do Taylor because the offense hasn't been very good for Sarah's Colts. But, Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. If you ended up going for one of those in the early picks, obviously AK's been playing great. Breece is always money. He can catch and he can run. And even though McCaffrey's hurt, if he falls into your lap, you can take him, and hopefully he ends up having a successful year. First down, Jets. Move the chains. We're at 15:85 to go. But obviously, if you just click on the names and look at the stats, that'll help you out the most. Look at how many targets, how many rushing attempts, look at the yardage and the points. And you can always go to the scoring tab and it'll let you know what they rank, based on all the other players in their position. For me, I try to collect as many top 10 players in my starting lineup, and then I try to collect as many top 30 players overall. But if I can have all top 20 and nothing above that, that obviously will make your team very elite. Rogers, bootleg, rolling to his right, looking for a man, pointing long, pointing deep, got a man in the end zone, and complete. But we got a flag on the play. We got Laundry on the field. Yeah, with Amon-Ra, the only problem is I had him last year, but the offense isn't really flowing through Amon-Ra and Laporta within the first 2 weeks. It's going through Gibbs, Montgomery, and J-Mo. So, you have to kind of watch the games and be kind of familiar with what you're seeing. I'm not saying that Amon-Ra is going to have a bad year. There's plenty of really good wide receivers to be able to take, but I feel like if you look at his numbers compared to last year and this year, at least in the first 2 weeks, they haven't really been targeting him the way that I thought. Same thing with Sam Laporta. Almost no targets for Laporta, even worse than what Amon-Ra's been doing. Amon-Ra's been doing okay. Laporta hasn't done anything. So, but that could change here in week number 3. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? A New England Patriots sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Wise Jr., I see you. Elliot in the building. What's good? Yeah, no Tyreek. Absolutely nobody on the Dolphins. If you pick Tyreek and Waddle, it's a wasted pick because, again, you have to have a quarterback that's going to get him the ball. And, Thompson is not good enough. So any type of value that Waddle and Tyreek had before the draft pretty much disappeared, unfortunately, for those people, unless they end up signing like a Ryan Tannehill or someone that's not playing to come in there to do a good job, or if they trade for like a Tyrod Taylor, then the value goes up again. But, with Waddle and Tyreek, with a quarterback like that, instead of hitting 20, 30, 40 points out of Waddle and Tyreek each week, you might only be hitting 5 to 10. And you could probably find another receiver that's going to get you that and have more upside. So, again, you always got to look at the team, the scheme, the quarterback, the targets, the attempts. You have to look at all of those before you, manufacture a good team. So, obviously Jefferson got a little bit of a jersey, but a little injury bug, here and there. But I definitely would be going Jefferson over Chase, even with Darnold. But again, everyone can make their own decision on where they want to go. Third down and 19, Rodgers, little screen. Obviously Burrow is a better quarterback than what you got with like Sam Darnold. But again, if Darnold does enough to be able to get, Jetta the ball, it might end up being, something where the point total could even still be higher for Jetta, even with a crappier, obviously quarterback. Mutombo in the building. What's good? Jets with the punt. Good defense there by New England. I'm not surprised. And again, don't be surprised if New England ends up stealing this game. I definitely think they're going to have a shot to be able to win. Now, we know the offense, based off name recognition, is nowhere near what the Jets have. But again, Jacoby Brissett has actually played pretty well. We haven't seen Drake May just yet. Ramondre Stevenson isn't going to be as good as Breece Hall. But again, if you take him for granted, he can punch it in the end zone once or twice himself. And it's just a matter of getting the offense to catch up to the defense and maybe a magical play. Punt return, kick return, for a touchdown, a fumble for a touchdown, a pick six, something. You got to be able to get the advantage somewhere other than just playing straight up great defense. And we'll see if we end up getting it on New England's first attempt here with the ball with Brissett. Appreciate the like and the share, Elliot, as well as Sarah and Britt. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Lucha Bros going to WWE. Good for them. They'll be popular in WWE. Obviously, Lucha Libre style is always going to be exciting, fast-paced wrestling. And They were awesome and one of my favorites in AEW. But if they want to be able to go where the best ratings are and be able to see if they can, as long as they don't bury them, but as long as they let them be them, I think that they will be able to capture a brand new audience that has no idea who they are, or maybe people that watch them just a little bit in AEW. But again, if you ended up watching the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks, they put on some of the best tag team matches in AEW history, or even in wrestling history within the last 5-6 years. So definitely excited to see what happens there. Anna, go Mariners. Yeah, but if you need help with the drafting, you just let me know. I got you. And I appreciate all the new subs that we've been getting as well. We got 2 more here in this stream alone, and we've been moving along. Now we only need 40 to get to 20,600. We've gained over 10 overnight. And again, as soon as I keep pumping out more reaction videos, as well as doing these NFL games and the Mariners, again, we'll be at 20,600 before you know it. I saw that. I did see that. Yeah, sometimes, depending on what I'm watching the game on, you're going to be able to hear the game audio behind me, like, in the stream. Sometimes you won't. So, or even if you do, I like to be able to have just a little background music there. And I found the right volume, because before when I was doing the Mariners, I had it too loud. So I think this is just right. Because we were doing it at around 60, 65 volume, but I think 50 is perfect. It's like subtle, it doesn't overtake my voice. You can still hear it in the background, just to have something there. And obviously it's not going to interrupt anything that we're doing here. Let's go, Jacoby. Show me something, baby. And I like the idea of Raw going to Netflix and then SmackDown getting an extra hour, making it 3 hours, which is going to be very, very cool. We'll be doing some wrestling streams in 2025 for sure. Not just the pay-per-view, the PLE once a month, but we might do Monday Night Raw streams too. Handoff. And a short game there for Ramondre Stevenson. 3rd down. 3rd down and 9 on the New England 21. Oh, I got you. Yeah, drafting is a big part of fantasy success. If you don't have a top 5 draft out of a 10 or 12 man league, you're done. It's like you got to make sure you have a good draft, and then obviously got to continuously hit the wire every week to improve the team. 3rd down and 9, blitz coming. Brissett throwing it toward the sideline, incomplete, and it was out of bounds, and no grounding call. Good defense by the Jets. All right, Megan, are you going to be able to come back so I can get photos for you? Let me know. And like I said, I can always do photos when you come back or tomorrow. But I do appreciate the support. Obviously, anyone that's willing to donate, like, share, comment, obviously any of those, it really does mean a lot. So I don't know, man. That's up to you, dude. Like I said, if you think you see something on there that could be more potentially, more fruitful, I would just probably leave them on the bench for now. But again, if you think that there's something there that, I would probably wait. Again, it's like with Tyreek and Waddle, even with this, quarterback that stinks that's going to be in there for Tua, you'd have to wait, because if they end up signing someone like a Tannehill or trading for someone like a Tyrod Taylor, then the value comes back, for Hill and for Waddle. So to get rid of them now, and then all of a sudden someone like me picks them up, then 2 weeks later they get a quarterback, and then I start using that player against you, then you're going to be like swearing in the air and punching your fist in the air and going crazy. So if it was me, I would just probably say, for the people that have Hill and Waddle, it's not ideal. You're going to have them on your bench. Wait it out if you can, and then see what else is out there. And right now the wire is pretty thin, because we have really good grasp of the people that are in this league. It's probably the most competitive that it's been in 8 years, and we got 3 females in the league. So it shows you to act like, females can't do fantasy. Bullshit, they can. And again, Zini has actually won the league in her first year or second year back in the day. So I feel that, it's very competitive. We only have 2 people at this point, that are 2-0. That's never happened. Again, so that means we have 2 people that are 0-2. I know one of them is going to get out of that. The other, we'll have to wait and see, based on Chief if he's actually going to, try to play this year, or if he's just going to give up, right out of the gates. But I know Sarah will be able to get back on track, and we got a shitload of teams that are 1-1. So I really think that if you look at the points and the points given up, like Elliott is a good example for someone that could have been 1-1, but it also depends on who you play and, the actual roster that you put out. So, especially if you don't have really a high point total. So even though Elliott is 2-0, there's a few of us that are 1-1 that have scored more points than Elliott. So if we would have played him, maybe he's not 2-0, maybe he's 1-1, but you got to give credit where credit's due. The schedule is just lined up. You just have to do your best on, each opponent every week. You got to pray that the injuries don't hurt you. And again, I've been hurt, probably as far as superstar players the most, because I got my number 1 running back, number 1 receiver. That's like 50 points a week that I'm not getting. Most people that have McCaffrey are 0-2 right now. So I'm 1-1, and I had a chance to win. But again, me and Reflect both shit the bed in week 2. And, scoring only 110 to 125 is not up to our standard, right? But obviously, Chief, if you look at his team and he's 0-2, he's got the most injuries. The guy's got like 6 or 7 that are either, questionable, doubtful, injured, reserve. So anytime you get hit that hard, it is really hard to come back, especially if the wire is already thin at that point. So, yeah, me too. I got Laporta, and he's only been giving me the 3 points, and I know Captain Oreo wanted him in the waiver. Handoff. Oh, Brees. First down, Jets. But I was thinking, well, he had 1 bad game, and then he had 1 really good game. So you just have to hope that that's a trend, that it's going to be more like last week, not like week 1. Because if Henry doesn't get the looks today, all the people that put him in the lineup starting this week are going to feel the pain. But again, the tight end position really hasn't been that good unless, you have Brock Bowers or Trey McBride. If you got those 2, you're sitting good. But if you don't got those 2, you're kind of fucked right now. And you might have to look for a backup. Even if you have Kelsey. Kittle did pretty good last week, so you can put him there. But for people that have Kelsey and Andrews and Laporta, like myself, and a few of those guys, Kyle Pitts, a lot of these tight ends have not done anything, and it's not really necessarily their fault. They just haven't been able to get the targets, from the quarterback, at least not in the first 2 weeks. So we'll see on how that goes, but I wish everyone the best of luck. Oh, yeah, don't get rid of T, because once he comes back, that'll be someone that has more value than Waddle. Because obviously you might be able to get 10 to 25 points out of Higgins. It sucks when you have guys that are hurt and you have all these other spots that need to be filled because you're weak, and then you have to keep that spot for that injured player. There's nothing you can do, Little play action fake bootleg for Rodgers on 2nd down and 5. There we go. First down, Jets. And that's kind of the hard thing about being a fantasy manager. You have to be the best manager you can, based on, limited resources. And again, you have to be able to not be over emotional, because if you get over emotional when someone has a shitty game and you let them go instead of putting them on the bench, someone else will grab that player and use them against you. So sometimes you have to be able to understand the season is long. Just because a guy has a bad game or 2 doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be off the team. They can be on the bench. But after time, if a person continues to suck, sometimes you got to be able to move on and try to find an upgrade. First down and 10. Shotgun set for Rodgers. Little screen to Brees Hall. Nice tackle by the Patriots. Oh, and then they end up getting a flag on that play. It's not like he was trying to do some WWE suplex there. That was like he hugged him and grabbed him and put him on the ground. That should be picked up. That was a terrible flag. Oh, okay. No problem. I'll get you photos when you come back. No worries. Pick that flag up. Pick it up. Terrible call. I've seen guys give someone the Brock Lesnar Suplex City, and that wasn't it. Okay, if you want to see Suplex City, I'll show you. All right, that was a very, very weak call. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10 on a flag, I mean, that's a 0. That's not a flag. Ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't even have a backup tight end. And normally when my tight end isn't good, I usually have 2 or 3. But there's not really a whole lot on the wire to grab. So I just have to pray that Jared Goff wakes the fuck up, with the offense, and they start going to Laporta, And again, it's like, if I would have known that it was going to be like this, I wouldn't have picked Sam Laporta. I would have picked Brock Bowers as a rookie, right out of the gates as the first tight end off the board, even though Kelsey and Kittle and Andrews and all these guys have been, studs. But you never want to not get a rookie, on your team. Breece Hall with the spin move. First down, Jets, Jets. Move the chains. And you never know what rookies are going to, blow up. But usually the hype that goes into the draft typically ends up playing out. Marvin Harrison Jr., slow start, but then had a bang game, right? Malik Neighbors, 10 points the first game, $1 billion the second game, right? And then you get guys, obviously, like Brock Bowers, where you're getting mad points right out of the gates, and he looks like the Sam Laporta of last year. So, if you have a chance, depending on the rookie, and if you've done your research, if you get one, you're going to see the fruits of your labor. Rodgers, play action fake. But that was out of bounds, incomplete. Thank you, Matt, with the like and the share. But yeah, a lot of us, got, individuals injured, and it's not just like low name guys. They're big. It's like quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. I mean, it's some of these positions that are banged up are not necessarily like replaceable. It's like, yeah, I got Jordan Mason, and obviously that's going to be sufficient right now for Christian McCaffrey. But again, it's not the same. McCaffrey can get me 25 to 50 points. Jordan Mason might be able to get me 18 to 25, and maybe on a low 10 to 13 or 14 if he ends up playing a good D. But it's not the same type of athleticism as McCaffrey, as well as the same type of catching ability. And that's the whole reason that I got him. If I would have known the Niners were lying about his status going into week 1, I would have drafted Breece Hall and not McCaffrey with the first pick in the draft. Facts. Appreciate you, DX, with the like there on the post. First and goal. See if New England can hold the Jets to a field goal here. If they can tighten up. Screen pass. Oh. Touchdown, Jets. Jets, Jets. Aaron Rodgers to Allen the Lizard Lazard. Didn't really have a great game. Then he had a big game. And every other game, it seems like Lazard will blow up, but it's not going to be every single week, which makes it difficult in fantasy if you want to grab a guy like Lazard, because the week that you put him in the starting lineup, he might only get 3, right? But if you're lucky enough that you have a player like that and they end up scoring, it may not be just one time. Lazard might get in the end zone twice like he did a few weeks ago. And obviously the jersey was pulled, but they couldn't hang on. Extra point is up, and it's good. 7-0 Jets. And again, Rodgers has this ability to make average wide receivers look great when he has rapport with them. And again, not every receiver is like Garrett Wilson that could be good on any team in the NFL. Like Allen the Lizard Lazard, if you put him on almost any other team, he's just average. He's just a average number 2 or number 3 receiver. Nothing special about him, but Rodgers has that connection with him to kind of make him not a quote-unquote superstar receiver, but he makes it maybe more valuable receiver than if he wasn't on the Jets. So obviously, having that pairing is working out for Aaron Rodgers and Allen the Lizard Lazard. For me, with Lazard, it's too much of a risk. It's like that's the kind of guy that you might have on your bench. But again, can you predict the week that he's going to score once or twice? And he's not going to score a touchdown every week. 1 week it might be Garrett Wilson and Breece. The other week it might end up being someone else. Like, you don't really know. It's not like someone that they're going to go heavy to every game. So kind of a crapshoot. But so far, Jets 7, Patriots 0. Now we got to have the Patriots catch up, maybe with a Ramondre Stevenson touchdown, or maybe getting the ball to Hunter Henry here. Let's go. Yeah, with the Chargers receivers, though, they already got Ladd McConkey and whatnot, but you got to think with the Pittsburgh defense, with Minka and TJ, that's rough because you got to understand, you got to look at the personnel units. It's not just, we're playing Pittsburgh and Justin Fields and he's average, right? You have to look at the defense, based on the receiver that you're putting in with Quentin. So if he's going to be matched up against like Minka, that's not necessarily that good. Like he still might score, but there's a risk there. Just like with me and Mike Evans, I'm going against Patrick Surtain, and I got a red matchup number 1. So there's a chance that Mike Evans might only put up 3 to 5 points and get shut down. But sometimes you still got to take the risk and hope that they give that player enough targets, even if it's against a top corner, that you can still get points. So, and again, with TJ Watt, roaming around, Pittsburgh may not be a great team overall, but defensively, they still got one of the top 10 defenses in the league. So you always want to make sure that, when you do wide receiver matchups and tight end matchups, look to see who the linebacker is on the tight end, and always look to see what the corners and what the defense is looking like as of late, because that will help you make a better decision. And even if it ends up being a bad matchup, I've still seen people score 20, 30, 40 points, off a red matchup. So again, sometimes it's just a crapshoot and you have to roll the dice like you're in Vegas. Packers D has played very well to start off the season, and obviously we know Will Levis is garbage, so there is a good chance that the Packers D might get you 10 points. It could definitely happen. 7-0 Jets. 4:21 left as the Jets kick off. All right, Patriots, let's go. Sister drafted Rodgers as her flex and Lazard for DraftKings. Oh, nice. All right, let's go, Jacoby. Appreciate you, Brett, with the like and the share. Matt, Elliot, Sarah, and Brett, appreciate you very much, as well as DX on other social medias. All right, New England, 3 plays, 1 yard. You got to be able to open it up. So obviously going to Ramondre Stevenson, bang, 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 that ain't going to work. So maybe doing a play action pass to Hunter Henry on first or second down to open up and test the defense a little bit. We know Sauce Gardner is very good, but no C.J. Mosley in the middle of the field. And look how fast the Jets defense are, just like New England. Going all the way to the other side of the field for maybe a gain of 1. You got to go up the field. You can't go sideways, baby. Come on, Douglas. Oh, Levis will make mistakes, and especially when you got Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in the game, and the way that defense has been playing, there is a good chance, for a 10 to 15-point performance. They more than likely will win, and you would assume Levis will fuck up a couple times. Short game. I do like Jalen Polk from the Huskies. This is a player that could play running back or wide receiver. You can put him in the flat. You can put him in motion. You can do reverses, jet sweeps, and he's actually got good hands. So if New England was smart, they would probably be looking at more of Jalen Polk, less of Douglas and Hooper, and going more to Henry. Polk and obviously Hunter Henry are going to be your best athletes on the team besides Ramondre Stevenson. So if I'm calling plays, that's where I'm going, to be able to try to get the advantage any way I can. Not saying that Hooper and Douglas are garbage, but definitely Polk, even as a rookie, is a better athlete than some of the others that are out there. Brissett. Here we go. Speaking of Hunter Henry, move the chains. There we go. And again, you have to recognize what your best options are. Who's the best athlete? Who's the best route runner? Who's got the best hands? Both defenses are good. There's not going to be a lot of wiggle room. He had to throw that pass in triple coverage, okay? Nice spiral there by Brissett. Nice hands by Henry. Taking the contact. There we go, baby. I got a throwback in Buccaneer vest from 2005 because I'm going for a throwback mood, a throwback vibe, and a throwback game. Short game there by Ramondre Stevenson. The Bucky pick was good, and if I had more space on my team, I would have done it because Rachaad White hasn't been good to start off the year. He's got a little bit of a growing injury, but Bucky has looked better on the ground than Rachaad White. But Rachaad White last year also started slow and then ended up turning into a top 6 running back for fantasy after like the first month. So sometimes it takes a little time for these players to find themselves to get in the right physical shape, and also it depends on the matchups that you're going against too. 2nd down and 7, play action fake, Brissett, good protection up front, going deep, got a man, incomplete. Austin Hooper just out of range. That's crazy, bro. I mean, I've been getting about 3 points with Laporta, so I can feel your pain, dude. And again, if I would have known that they were going to go to J-Mo and Montgomery and Gibbs and just totally ignore Amon-Ra and Laporta, I would have made the Brock Bowers move. I like taking risks in fantasy, but I just thought that, Laporta, was great last year. He's going to be a main focal point this year, but first 2 weeks, they're doing me dirty. No, I wouldn't start Bucky Irving this week. I mean, obviously it's against your Broncos, and there might be an opportunity for him to get points, but, I mean, he probably will only get, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. I mean, I would assume Bucky could get 5 to 9 points as the backup RB2, but I wouldn't be putting Bucky in the lineup until they say he's RB1. And if he ends up taking the job from Rachaad White, then you could see, the matchup and, how many, attempts he's going to have. But right now, if you throw Bucky in the lineup, you're not going to get a whole lot, more than likely, unless he ends up getting that, screen pass for a touchdown, or he ends up getting, 10 to 12 runs, and one of those runs ends up getting in the end zone to get you over 10 points. But, as of right now, Bucky is, kind of under 10 points as an RB2. He's not used like David Montgomery and Gibbs. If you're going to start a player, in your fantasy league that's an RB2, it has to be someone like Montgomery or Charbonnet for the Seahawks, where they're going to get screen passes and they're getting, opportunities to get 10 to 15 points. But if it's not that type of volume, you're running a high risk of starting any RB2 that's not named David Montgomery or Zach Charbonnet. Facts. 7-0 Jets. New England just needs to open up that offense just a little bit more. A little bit more Hunter Henry, a little bit more Jalen Polk. And if you end up doing that with a right time, obviously Ramondre Stevenson runs, you can get back in this game. Henry over Pickens, that's not really crazy. I mean, if you had Pickens at the flex and he hasn't really been doing a whole lot, I mean, Justin Fields isn't very good. I mean, he's average, so the Steelers' offense is kind of shitty. So, I mean, if they would have had a better quarterback, Pickens, value would be much higher. Imagine if Big Ben was still playing. The Pickens value would be very high. He'd be a top 12 receiver. But, George has the big playability. But, again, if you can't get him the ball enough, then it just is kind of a player that you have to monitor. Also, with the Sutton thing, it's more than just Knicks. It's the offensive line, it's the coaching, it's the defense, the offensive line. It's a number of factors. Handoff, short gain of about 4 for Breece Hall. 2nd down and 5, 2nd down and 6 on the Jet 14. Yeah, that's why I have them. Number 3, they've only given up 10 points and 3 points. It's Harbaugh. Harbaugh has made a difference with Dobbins. He's made a difference in Herbert, even though he got a little bit of an ankle. Even though they lost, Eckler and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, it doesn't fucking matter. They got rid of the piece that was the worst, Staley and Lynn as coaches. They got Harbaugh in there, and he's putting his imprint on that team by running the ball and playing good defense. Nice hands right there by the Jets. And anytime, you can get players to believe in someone that's had success, especially someone that had success on the Niners and obviously won a natty with Michigan, they're going to run the ball, play good defense, and you've seen a rebirth in Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack has been great the last 2 years, even though supposedly he's over the hill, but he's not playing like it. Holding, offense. It kind of depends on what you're watching it on. So they have Amazon Prime, right? They also have streaming links, and it also depends on where you are in the country. And it also depends if you're watching it on the computer or if you're watching it on the app on the TV. I have noticed that if you watch it on the TV app, sometimes it's slower than watching it on your computer for whatever reason. It's all supposed to be live, but they lie, and also it depends on where you're located in the country. Certain feeds get it a little bit quicker. So it's almost like when you watch streaming apps, when games are out of your region and you have like a 5 to 30 second delay. It's kind of like that when you get these games that are going to be on Prime or YouTube or something like that. Shotgun set. Hand off. Short little game there by Brees. YouTube TV, NFL paid network, and I still get it faster. That's you can always watch it on a do you have Prime? That's true. Unless it's slower on YouTube TV compared to Amazon Prime itself or a streaming link. So, but I can always give you the link that I'm watching it on if you want to watch it, based on me calling the game. Obviously, I don't want to ruin it, for anybody, but, obviously sometimes I'm going to be 5 to 10 seconds behind a live feed on TV, but sometimes I'll be right on. And like I said, everyone is watching it on a different space. YouTube, Prime on the computer, Prime on the TV. Sometimes people are watching streaming apps, and sometimes those are 15 to 30 seconds behind. But also I found one that is as close to live TV as it gets. And that's the one that I typically use, depending on if I have, a particular product. I mean, Prime is $15 a month is kind of a ripoff. Unless you're doing a lot of shopping, on Amazon Prime, then I guess it's worth it. But if you're not shopping on Prime and you're just doing it for the shows and football, I don't know, man. Like I said, everything is like an app and everything costs money. And depending on what, you have for an income, it can get a little spendy. So. Yeah, and again, and I always do research. I'm always researching it, as I'm watching it. End of the first quarter, 7-0 Jets. I do the app, and then I have it at the same time on the computer. Then I look on the app, on the TV. Then I go to these other apps, and I try to be able to find the fastest one, and also you can, if you have cable or internet, internet, cable or satellite, and then you have access to like Xfinity or DirecTV, and then you're on like ESPN, right? And then you end up using your cable, email to be able to get the feed. Sometimes, that ends up not necessarily being quote unquote live, even though you're paying for cable or satellite each month, and then you're using your email, through Xfinity or whatever. But I've noticed that even when you do that, sometimes even streaming links are faster than quote unquote a live link, through a paid cable service or satellite. So I think it's just one of those things that whenever we do games, there's always going to be someone behind and someone ahead. And we just have to do our best by just hanging out with each other and kind of just dealing with, whatever, speed that we're at based on the game. You're never going to get everyone on the same page, unfortunately, because everyone's watching it a different way. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Hopefully we can get to 20. Obviously, as we get, closer to the hour and a half range. But first we need to get to 10. And we're at 14 now, so we need 6 more to get to 20. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we're at 16. Thank you so much. 4 more to go to get to 20. Rogers avoids the pressure. Little check down. Wow. First down, Jets. Unexcusable defense with those weak arm tackles by the Patriots, and they got a couple players down with injuries. Hopefully they're okay. Yeah, and that's always good because, we don't want to have some random person, like spamming up the chat on every single play, especially when not every person might not be on that same feed as that individual. So usually I boot those people out that try to do that type of thing. So, but for the most part, I think most people will be 30 seconds or less, and hopefully most of y'all will be, in that 5 to 15 second range. First down and 10 for the Jets. Play action fake to Brees. Then they go back to him with the little screen pass. Look at the athleticism. First down, Jets. Move the chains. If you want me to send you the link that I'm watching it on, I can send you that. Like I said, all you got to do is, close the pop-up that comes up initially, click back on it, and then you're good. So you let me know if you want to be able to have something a little bit faster. Rodgers, hands off. Wow. First down, Jets. That time by Allen, the backup. Big gain right there of 11. Multiple running backs. Yeah. I can send you what I use, because I think I sent you maybe the old one. I have a new one that I use that's faster, because the old one that I would used to use would be like 30 seconds behind, than a lot of the other people that were out there. Yeah, baseball and football. This one that I got is like much faster. It's like maybe 5 seconds behind live, if that, on a TV or a satellite, or if it's on Prime, but you let me know. I got a lot. I mean, like I said, since I do this full time, I always have to have a couple links, just as a backup, depending on if I have Prime or if I have these other things, but I'll just send you a screenshot real quick. And I'll tell you, this is what I use. So that's what I use. You just go to Google, type that in, and then obviously once you do that, you go to NFL, and then you're good to go. There'll be one pop up, and again, if Amazon Prime, wasn't necessarily $15 a month. I mean, sometimes I'm going to have Prime and some of these other apps, but I mean, it's like you got Hulu, you got Netflix, you got Prime, you got Disney Plus, and it seems like, you're going to have a game or two almost on every different app, let alone what's on cable or satellite. It's like you just need so much money to be able to watch it on the particular app, but sometimes even watching it on the app, you can find it somewhere else even faster. Third down and 5. First down, Jets. Bucs defense is pretty good. I mean, they didn't get a lot of fantasy points in the first couple weeks based off the opponents that we played, right out of the gates. But I definitely think that they can make some plays. They could potentially get 10 points in fantasy against your Broncos. They don't have Antoine Winfield Jr. and they have a lot of injuries. But again, we're coached up very, very well. And, I would be shocked if we lose to the Broncos this weekend. I assume that we will win. So, but you never know. Halfback toss. There we go. There's the tackle I was looking for. Finally, the Pats with a good tackle for loss there from Jennings on Breece Hall. Yeah, I sent it to you on Messenger. So that's the one that's faster. Obviously, they have another one. There's like Stream East and a bunch of these other ones, but those ones end up having too much of a delay. That one's like 30 seconds, but the one that I sent you, that one is as close to live that you're going to get. And sometimes it's completely live. Other times only maybe 5 to 15 seconds in lag, if that. So I usually prefer to use that one. 15 seconds is better than 30 seconds. First down, Jets. Move the chains. Tyler Conklin getting in on the action. But Britt, that's the one that I typically use, almost every day, and I haven't had any issues. No computer viruses, no phone viruses, no issues. You should be good to go. And again, I have cable in the living room for Xfinity, so I usually will go on there, go in the living room, and compare. Like if a Mariner game is on, like what's the difference between all those apps? Breece Hall trying to get into the end zone, met by 3 Patriots, and he goes down, but still stands on his feet. So that's kind of the way that I like to be able to compare, is like going into the living room, seeing what is live through Xfinity or Comcast, and then comparing with these other apps and how it will work. But you should be good to go now for moving forward. And that'll be for like Red Sox, anything that you want to watch. Patriots, even though I know you got your YouTube service and whatnot. So 2nd and goal. Patriots threatening here. 8:40 and counting. Man in motion. Rogers. Play action fake. Floater. Incomplete. Nice little floater with touch there by Rogers to try to get it into that sweet spot in the breadbasket, but incomplete. Good defense by New England. That's how it'll go. 3rd and goal. You're at 8:30. 8:33 here. So again, maybe it just depends. Maybe it's regional too. I don't know. But there you go. Man in motion. Rogers. Hands off. Oh, just short. He did a little bit of a spin cycle there to try to get in the end zone. Breece Hall fantasy managers are livid right now. They said short of the goal line. Let's look at a replay. He's trying to get into the spin cycle here. That's a touchdown. I think that's 6 as well. No problem. I mean, it only has to cross the stripe. It doesn't have to get to the, the inside. So see how they have the line in the white? They have the first, white and then the back white. And I know there's some fans that think that it has to cross the back white of the line to be a score. It's just the initial stripe of white. If you cross the plane with the football with that's a touchdown. This will be a good challenge. And again, New England needs to get their shit in gear here. They've got to get at least a field goal before halftime. Obviously, a touchdown would be preferred, but you got to stop the bleeding any way you can. And again, getting 3 will do that. But that's a tutty. All right, 4 more likes to get to 20. Let's get there, baby. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And then for the people that donated, obviously, we know Megan went to go to a Hawks members stream, but if you want to end up having something for your dono, Captain, let me know. I'm not sure if you mentioned anything right there, and you may or may not care about the photo, but if you got a particular player, Mariners or NFL or whatever you want, let me know, and I got you. Yeah, fantasy is very difficult. I'm insane. Like, obviously, when fantasy is one of my favorite things to do in life, and I'm literally on the app probably 4 hours a day, because not only am I refreshing and looking at my team and shaking my head in disgust, but I'm always looking on the wire, for every position, scrolling up and down until it almost ends, to see if there's anything that is like a sleeper person that, you guys have missed. And then also I have to study all your guys' teams, your benches, when you guys have weak weeks. It's one of those things. You've got to do a lot of research, and you got to be able to, you can always roll the dice, on players and just go based on the number that's projected. But again, if you just do that, it'll come back and to bite you. Just because someone is projected for 18 doesn't mean they're going to get 18. It's a projection. So, especially if you got good options on the bench, it's one of those things where you're kind of going back and forth in your head, this guy or this guy, and it can get to be a little bit of madness, but I definitely enjoy it. Touchdown, Jets. Call is reversed. All right, I got you. Come on, New England. Extra point is up. And it's good. 14-0 Jets. Flag on the play, though. Let's see what this is. Unsportsmanlike. Fifteen-yard penalty on the kickoff, and they're just going to take the extra point. 14-0 Jets. This still, even though this has already happened and we ended up having Tom for 3 with Gronk, still it feels like a dream. Like, for Brady and Gronk to have that legacy in New England and for them to choose Tampa and to be able to win a Super Bowl, since, the last time I won a Super Bowl, I was 20. So to go almost like the other half of my life to be able to see them win another one. I didn't know if the Bucs would ever win another Super Bowl, but it all worked out for the Tampa Bay Bucs. And if Antonio Brown wasn't crazy on CTE and walking off the field, right, against the Jets, who knows? Maybe we end up winning another one. That he definitely screwed us in that year because, we had injuries with Godwin and a few others that it would have been really nice, to have Evans and AB if Godwin was hurt, because obviously when you played the Rams that year, you needed everyone healthy, and unfortunately we just couldn't do it. But again, winning one, you don't need to get greedy, win 2 or 3, but he did his job. He went there for 3 years. I think most people thought that they would win in year number 2 or year number 3, not year number 1 that he came over, but he changed the culture for Tampa Bay, and he's even changed the culture since he left. So, we were a team that obviously had bad quarterback play, but a lot of good athletes. Found the right coach in Bruce Arians, and got Brady, Gronk, AB, drafted Tristan Wirfs and Antoine Whitfield Jr., and had great players like Devin White and Levante David, JPP, the Ndamukong Suh. Everything came together on that defense, and it felt good, And I'm one of only 2 teams to have 2 Super Bowl appearances and 2 wins, the Tampa Bay Bucs and the Baltimore Ravens, both 2-0 in Super Bowls. Appreciate you very much, Captain. Yes, thank you so much for Brady and Gronk. I appreciate that. Good tackle there by the Jets. Ramondre Stevenson just needs to get loose. They need to open up this playbook a little bit here. Uh-oh, ankle injury. Uh-oh. Jabril Peppers. Now they need him. Hand off. Ramondre runs over a player. Go, go, go. There we go. Hit him with that stiff arm. Yeah. First down, Patriots. Move the chains. But there's a flag on the play, and it's probably holding. Damn it. We got laundry on the field, and 9 times out of 10, it's either illegal motion, illegal shift, or a hold. Wow. Face mask on the offense when the running back is trying to get yards. Ridiculous. Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, what is he supposed to do? It's not like he purposely is going to get his hand in the face mask. A couple of questionable calls here. For me, I would just let that go. The little fake-ass Brock Lesnar Suplex City penalty was trash. And, it's one thing if a defensive player is doing the face mask, but if it's a running back and he's just trying to get away, I would just pick the flag up and just give him the first down. They're definitely getting every single call against them. Hopefully things will be better in the second half, but not ideal for Britt and the Patriots, as well as Judah. Second down and 9. Come on. Pass. Let's go. Uh-oh. Pass incomplete. But there's a flag on the play, and that was targeting. Illegal contact to the head, baby. Come on, New England. We need a touchdown before halftime. Four more likes to 20, baby. Let's go. Unnecessary roughness on the defense. Automatic first down, and that makes up for the fucking, bullshit face mask. I mean, there was a face mask by Ramondre Stevenson to the defender, but lowers the boom. At first, I thought he might have gotten concussed because anytime you see the arms go up, that's usually the telltale sign that they're knocked out when their arms get stiff and, so hopefully he'll be okay for the rest of the game. 3 penalties each for the Pats and the Jets, and the Patriots need offense now. Little flip, blockers downfield, nice. Nice job by Douglas there, gain of 9. First down, Patriots, move the chains. They need to find more creative ways to get Ramondre Stevenson the football. And Jalen Polk, you got to get him the ball. Same thing with Hunter Henry. Get the best players on your offense the ball. Ramondre Stevenson, Jalen Polk, Hunter Henry. Blitz coming off the edge. Look out. Get rid of it. Wow, and they blew the play dead before they should have. Wow. Man, can the Patriots just get anything to go right here? Everything going against them with momentum. And Uncle Mo, come on. I get it that it's a road game for them, but good timely blitz there. Yeah, great timely blitz there by the safety, by Clark. It's a new era, Elliot. Again, maybe if this was us years ago, there's no way in hell we would, right? But, different time, different player, different team. Going deep. It was a penalty. There we go. He's holding him the whole goddamn way. Come on. There we go. Finally, the Patriots are getting some proper calls, and they might be able to get a touchdown on this drive. Let's go. Minimum of 3, but let's punch it in the end zone so we can have a close game here. Let's go. You know what? I like their coach. I like a couple of the players too. I mean, I like Brissett. I like Drake May. I like Hunter Henry. He's holding his arm the whole fucking time. I like Jalen Polk from the Huskies. I like their some of the players on the defense as well. I mean, I'm a defensive guy, so anytime I see good defense, I'm always going to be leaning towards watching those type of players. Most fans are offensive-minded fans that like quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Not saying that I don't enjoy those positions. I do, but I like O-line. I like D-line. I like linebackers. I like, nose tackles. I like edge rushers. I like safeties and corners. I'm just a little different. Uh-oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a triple back lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Offensive line for the Pats needs to step up. They are not doing a good job protecting Brissett. For right now, he's not bad. I mean, he's not elite or anything, but I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. Obviously, they feel a little bit more comfortable with the vet rather than Drake May out there. But eventually, Drake May will play, you would assume, this season. At some point or another, if the record is bad or if they just feel it's time, but we will see Jacoby Brissett, hand the torch over to Drake May at some point. And Drake will be able to throw the ball deeper than Brissett. It's just that he's going to throw more picks, but he'll throw the ball deeper. So it'll be more exciting when Drake May gets into the game, whenever that may be, but there will be more turnovers. But again, I think Patriot fans don't mind that. They just want more excitement on offense to move the chains. Yeah, and again, if they were going to go with the rook, they would have done it right there in week 1. But I think they felt that they had enough with the veteran. And usually when they go with a veteran instead of a rookie, they give them about 4 or 5 weeks. And depending on what the record is, then that's when the change is made. If you're 1-4 or 1-3, and then, okay, now it's time for a change. But, again, some of these rookie quarterbacks need to learn, behind the starters to, gain that expertise. But also, too, the best way to learn is to get out there, and to be able to kind of get thrown into the wolves, and to see how you react to pressure. Some guys fold under pressure, and other guys will, live, and under pressure and play well. See if New England can make this field goal. 44-yarder. Joey Sly, it ain't no Goskowski, but they can make it. Kick is up, and it's good. 44-yarder, baby. 14-3. Jets. There we go. I guess it kind of depends on what you want. You want Brissett for the first 4 games and then the rookie the rest of the way? Or would you rather have your rookie come in and play like shit and then get benched after 4 games and then have Brissett for the rest of the season? So I think that the way that they did it is going to be better for the fans and for you. Because if Brissett ends up getting benched, you're going to get the rookie, Drake May, for the rest of the season. So instead of getting Drake May for the first 4 games, he goes 0-4, then they bench him for Brissett, and then you don't even see him until next year. So you got to look at it from that standpoint as well. When they have a veteran QB and a rookie, do you want to see that player play early and then not for the rest of the season if they end up playing bad and the team plays bad? Or do you just let the veteran get in there, wait for him to fuck up, and then the rookie will get in? Because that's usually the MO for coaches. They'll go with the more experienced player, wait for them to fuck up, and then pass the torch to the rookie afterwards. Same thing with like Kirk Cousins. They're just going to kind of wait until he gets hurt or fucks up, and then eventually Michael Penix Jr. will get his time as well. So, but it all really depends on the win-loss record and when they decide to make the change. That's a big part of it too. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Let's go, baby. Let's get to 20. We're only a couple likes away. And what are we at? We're at 15:85 to go. Let's go, baby. Now we just need one more touchdown by New England, and then we have a very close back-and-forth game. But we need a big, big play. I need to see a big punch-out, an interception, a fumble, something to gain the momentum for New England, either here in the last 3:56 or at the beginning of the third quarter. New England is better than this 3 that they have right now, based on how they played in the first 2 weeks. And I didn't have any Patriot players for the thumb, so I had to be able to manufacture the Ramondre, but it turned out really good. Yeah. And again, I think Patriot fans are going to be more excited by, the air raid, to be able to go deep and make plays. Yeah, there's going to be more interceptions, but there's going to be more points scored, you would think, with Drake May. He's going to be able to get more guys going, in the offense, but there's also going to be more turnovers. So that's kind of the, risk reward that you have to play. But with Brissett, it's going to be more of a pro-style, boring offense, but he's not going to turn the ball over as much. But protecting the football, as we know, is one of the most important things in the NFL if you want to be competitive and win games. But again, at some point, the transition will happen. Come on, New England, hit him. There you go. No, I hear you, Brett. Now, there's also a chance that we don't see May at all this year, where they maybe have Brissett go the whole year, regardless if you don't, make the playoffs or whatever, but you would hope that they would at least get him in there. Same thing with like Michael Penix Jr. You hope you get to see him at least a little, regardless of how good Kirk Cousins does for the Falcons. But sometimes when guys sit for a year or two, it works out. I mean, look at Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers and a few of these other guys. sometimes sitting behind a vet really does help their development. And if Drake May doesn't get in for a year or two and then they eventually start him, at that point, he might end up being a top 13 quarterback right away. Even though it's been a couple years for him to wait, but I don't know if New England fans want to wait that long. They want him now, They already know it's going to be a challenging couple of years, so they might as well have the most exciting players out there. And I think that's what Britt is saying, so I get it. Handoff up the middle. Short game. 14-3 Jets. Allen with the run. And Allen's got some elusiveness as well. Brees is a different type of player, but if you've watched Allen when he gets in, he looks similar, to Brees once in a while once he hits the hole. And you can give Brees Hall a breather, and then you can have Allen come in, and he's not going to be as explosive, but there definitely is a little bit of explosiveness in Allen's game as a RB2 change of pace back. 3rd down and 4. Yeah. Mac Jones. It's really hard to be able to, get quarterbacks that pan out. Again, there can be so much hype in college, even a Heisman Trophy next to that player's name, but that doesn't mean they're going to be one of the, top 15 quarterbacks or top 20 in the NFL. NFL is, you got to have the intelligence too. You just can't be an athlete, because if you're an idiot, you're not going to make it. The play calling is very, very complex with a lot of these teams, and even if you're super intelligent, you may fail. It's not easy. Rodgers, wide open, big blast by New England, but the ball does not get dropped. 1st down, Jets, move the chains. Right. No, I hear you. He's got more of a skill set than Mac Jones. And again, I think a couple years ago he was better rather than last year in college, because obviously he lost, Downs. He had a couple people that, ended up making the NFL with him on North Carolina, and then his stats were a little bit better. But if you actually looked at his stats last year before he went into the draft, he had a lot of kind of average to bad games. They weren't really that great. There was a lot of 2 touchdown, 2 picks when you were comparing it to some of the others that were in the draft, like Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, that got obviously more touchdown to interception ratio. But again, it all depends on the team that you're on. And North Carolina isn't really known for amazing players. They've had Julius Peppers. They've had a few, come out of North Carolina for football. Obviously more of a basketball school like Jordan, Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace, James Worthy, and a few others. But, I hope it works out, and I think he's better than Mac Jones. But again, he's going to be a guy that, he has a good deep ball, and I think he's got a good grasp of the game. But again, turnovers will be the real key for him. So. Yeah, offensive line needs to be better. I would agree with that. And they'll be building that as the years, come along. Not every year you're going to be able to get, studs at the position. It shows you offensive line, to me, it's the most important position, group that's in football. You can have quarterbacks and running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, but a good O-line, a good defense, a good head coach, a good OC and DC is worth a hell of a lot more than quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Because if you have elite O-line, defense, coach, and coordinators, you could literally have average quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end, and that will end up turning into good because you have that supporting cast helping you out to make those other player positions better. Facts. But hopefully they'll end up drafting a lot of offensive linemen over the next 5 years, and the Patriots hopefully will end up being more competitive than obviously what we're seeing right now. But again, the first couple of weeks, they definitely opened up a lot of eyes. Even if you're losing some of the games, again, injuries are always going to derail you, right? But again, if they can get it going here in the second half, there still is a chance that they can, kind of cut into this lead. Shotgun set. Yeah, well, even we saw with Zappy was better than Mac Jones. It's all about your attitude, and your comprehension of the offense. And just because you're at Alabama, go back and look at all the Alabama quarterbacks. All of them aren't really that good except for Jalen, but he ended up going to Oklahoma. But if you go and look at like Tua, injury prone, and you go look at Mac Jones, and you're looking at all the Alabama quarterbacks, they were never really known for quarterback. And then when they ended up, getting some, a lot of them haven't really did very well, on the NFL side. So obviously Jalen is the exception. So. Second down and 1. Weird analogy, Matt, but 14-3. Someone can listen to Taylor Swift and be a terrible person, and then you're going to still like that person just because they listen to the music? That doesn't make sense. Not every person that listens to Taylor Swift is going to be a good human being. There's a lot of terrible people out there that listen to her music, but there's also going to be some good people as well. Come on, Matt. That shouldn't be the only qualification for you to trying to find a girlfriend. Like, if they listen to Taylor Swift, that's all that matters. Nothing else matters, just that. Got to be able to find more than that, my guy. Less than 2 minutes to go. 1:59 left here before halftime. 14-3 Jets. Let's go, baby. Appreciate Judah and DX helping out with some of the likes there on the social media. Appreciate that. WWE Women's Mid-Card Championship currently in the works, which is very cool. There's so many women that are deserving of a belt opportunity. So for them to be able to create like a United States Women's Championship, if that's the route that they're going to go, or like an Intercontinental Women's Championship, very cool. I ended up reading about that earlier on, and Sarah sent that post too. Yeah, well, sometimes you got to go through that experience, with quarterbacks, and, not everyone is going to be a Tom Brady, and again, work ethic, is something that most of these quarterbacks, like Brady says, if you end up watching a lot of his interviews, they don't develop quarterbacks like they used to. Again, they try to dumb it down for these quarterbacks instead of making it hard for them to comprehend what it's going to take to be able to be successful. So I feel that, by trying to take it easy on some of these QBs, that's the problem. And that's why not anyone is going to be built like a Tom Brady. Like, these guys that end up being GOATs and legends, it's all about work ethic. And there's a reason why Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and Tom Brady are not like everyone else, because it's not just what you do on the field, it's what you do off the field. And a lot of these guys don't put in the fucking work. You have to be a madman, and you have to be able to train more, read more, study more. You have to be able to be willing to sacrifice. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not willing to do it, even professional athletes, and it shows. Just because you've made it, to be a professional doesn't mean that's it, like, oh, I made it. But, if you want to be able to stay on top or be the best, you got to put a hell of a lot of work in. Second down and 2, 14-3 Jets. Brady coming back as a coach. Yeah. Handoff up the middle, short gain, first down, Jets. Yeah, like I said, you got to focus. You got to focus on yourself. Be happy with yourself. Keep focusing on the plays and the route trees. With the poke. And then what's going on with the JOB? Are you still doing that? Up there, or is that something that you decided not to do now? 14-3 New York. First down and 10. Handoff. Brees. Nice little juke there. A very subtle juke for 8 yards. A lot of weak arm tackles in this game, Britt, for New England, and that's not something I'm used to seeing. You know, a lot of these New England defenders just sticking their arm out. When you go against a guy like Breece Hall or even like a Ramondre Stevenson on the Pat side, you got to wrap up and you got to be able to take them down, and not like hip drop tackle, you know, where we're injuring guys, but a lot of just arms, you know, sticking out as the defender or the running back running by them. You know, you're not going to be able to bring down a Breece Hall by just sticking an arm out. That ain't going to work. You start next week. Hey, I mean, shit, if you can find a Swiftie in Hawaii that likes football and that likes that music and you guys can listen to the music together and watch football together, you know, why wouldn't you want something like that? You want to be able to have similar interests, and if that's something that you really, really like, you know, that's something that, you know, is important to you, then, you know, maybe one day that'll end up lining up, you know. Rodgers going deep. Got a man, incomplete. Just out of coverage. Garrett Wilson, flag on the play. I need to see the fist pumping like Jersey Shore, though, if we're going to end up doing the fist pump and I want to punch that ball out. I need to see the motion. I haven't really seen them try to punch the ball out too much tonight. And again, if you're going to stick your arm out, you know, I need to see it become a fist. And I need to see some follow through. Oh, there's Swifties everywhere, Matt. They're everywhere, especially with all the Taylor Swift propaganda, with her being on every social media site and linking with Travis Kelce in the NFL. They're everywhere. There's even people that didn't even really know who she was that listen to her music now. So, I mean, you know, again, you know, when you get someone that's like that has that many followers, you know, there gonna be a lot of people that, you know, enjoy that, but there'll also be a lot of people that don't care for it either. You just got to find the ones that have the similar interest to you. Little screen, good tackle there by New England. I guarantee there's Swifties in Hawaii. They're everywhere, bro. They're global. I mean, you don't got like 1 billion fucking followers if they're just in like one particular area. I mean, they are fucking everywhere. But again, some, you know, genuinely like kind of like liked her music before she like blew up. But I feel like a lot of the people that are following her, maybe not necessarily you, Matt, but I feel like a lot of people that are following her now, it's more like propaganda, where it's like the cool thing to do. Oh, you know, Travis Kelce, oh, NFL, and then they're like kind of pushing it in front of you. It's like commercials. You know, when you end up seeing a Burger King commercial 10 times a day, you know, chances are you might end up wanting Burger King by the end of the week because it's been implanted in front of your face over and over again, kind of like brainwashing. You know, it's like maybe you don't even like Burger King, but if the commercial keeps coming on, you know, once an hour for 10 hours straight, eventually you're going to be like, you know what? I kind of want a Whopper, you know, and it just like subliminally, you know, gets into your head. And I kind of feel that's kind of the route that Taylor Swift has taken, you know, with the NFL. She's got everybody in a trance for the people that, you know, like her music. First down, Jets. Now look at that opening right there, bringing the blitz, and there's nobody there. Quick slant, and there's nobody there to defend. Rodgers might be old as shit, but, you know, he still has decent vision. His mobility in the pocket is pretty slow, but he can still hit a receiver. Mike Williams with the catch, the former Charger. Yeah, I'm not really, I mean, you know, if everyone's going to have their personal favorites, whether it's rap or country or pop or whatever it is, but I feel that when people try to force you to like someone, then it's like a big turnoff for me. You know, it's like you're trying to shove this down my throat. I never really liked her to begin with, and now I really don't like her because you're trying to force me to be a bandwagon fan like all these other people, and it ain't going to work, you know? I get it, you know, she can be a good role model for young women, and that's great, you know, but I don't need someone to force something, you know, to me every single day, you know. I think that's kind of the big part of it. Or, obviously trying to interrupt my football by popping up on the screen every fucking 15 seconds, I mean, it's like even with like Skeens on Pittsburgh, it's like, I don't need to see Livy Dunn 24/7 either, and it's not like if she's at a game, and obviously her followers are going to be different than Taylor Swift since she's a entertainer, right? But it's a little bit different. Going long, going deep, incomplete. Or even like Kate Upton with Justin Verlander, you're going to get models and girlfriends and wives of athletes and whatnot, but I don't know. I just think nobody wants to have that presented that way, and I feel it's not like genuine. It's all about subscribers and money. And that's all it is. They don't care about anything else. It's all about money and subscribers and new followers. And it's not like a genuine thing where they try to make it like, oh, she's just really nice, and they're just doing it just to be nice and this and that. That's bullshit. They're doing it for money and to be able to get more popularity. That's why they're doing it. There's a reason why. Because if Taylor didn't have all the followers that she does, they would never put her on the fucking screen. Never. I mean, the NFL is a fucking business. 3rd down and 10. This also. Yeah, and then when things don't go her way, and then making a song about it, about your personal life. Some people, like Dua Lipa and a few others, they don't do that. And some people want, people to open up about your personal life, but sometimes things are meant to be private. Instead of trying to put someone on blast because the relationship didn't work out, so you can make money and make songs. I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? And of course, you're going to get like rap beef, with like Drake and Kendrick, and people are going to go at each other, but when it gets to be like personal about like your actual dating life or whatever it may be, marriage, and then you're going to make it into a song to make money. I think that's really petty, It's immature and petty. But again, she knows that if she does that, she can make a shitload of money and get a lot of views and get a lot of tags and a lot of traction, and that's the way that she goes about her business, But again, I'm the same way, I don't think that's right. But again, if that's what she wants to do, and once her and Travis Kelce break up, and then she ends up making an album about him, then all the Swifties will be all over that. And then they'll end up burning their Travis Kelce jerseys and T-shirts, and they will no longer be Chief fans. You think that they're going to still be Chief fans after they break up? Hell no. They're not. They're going to disown him, and they'll blow up his social media, and it'll be insane. Even if it was her fault, right? And then they'll blame it on him. Facts. Greg the Leg, 35 for 38. 92% conversion rate in 2023. No good. There we go. And again, you're down. It could have been 17-3, but 14-3 is much better, especially if you can come right out of the gates with a touchdown to 14-10. So you got to be, as far as New England is concerned, this first half sucked, but this missed field goal is huge, and it'll still give you a little glimmer. I mean, it doesn't look good right now, but again, all you need is a couple good drives, and then if you can get it to 10, or even if getting it to 14-6 early, that'll definitely help. Yeah, him as well. Right. Yeah, it's a preferential treatment. Like I'm bigger than everyone else on planet Earth. Everything rotates around me in her head. Right. First down, Patriots. All right, what do we got? 1 second left. Are we going to go for a Hail Mary here? I mean, you could get a pass interference. You might as well just chuck it and see what happens, right? And you might be able to get a cheap field goal out of this if you get PI on the last play. Or if you end up, doing a miracle like Aaron Rodgers used to do for the Packers, sometimes it ends up being a fucking touchdown. Yeah. True. And the Patriots get the ball back. Let's go, New England. Step it up. We're at 15, 85 to go. Trips left. Shotgun set. Brissett just launched that. Launch that, Beasy. Oh, he launched that, Beasy. All the way to the end zone. Oh. And that was deflected. Too bad they had 3 Jets right there. Where was the New England receiver, damn it? All right, it's halftime. 14-3. Jets. Look at that. 3 Jets right there. Where the hell are you guys at? Austin Hooper, Henry, you need to be in front, not behind them. I like them going for that Hail Mary as well, but they needed to have the tight ends in front, right? That way you box out, the guys behind you to give yourself a chance, not get behind them. Come on, tight ends. Robert Saleh, 1-5 record versus New England. Let's throw up some New England photos for Britt. Boost her mood. Oh, Aaron Hernandez would have. Even though he was a gangbanger and whatnot, and obviously, there's a lot of speculation on what happened to him, obviously, when he was in jail, if he got killed and whatnot. But, if he was able to stay away from the crime and him and Gronk, were able to play together, it would have changed the NFL forever in double tight end sets. Like, there would be so many teams that would have copied their style by trying to have 2, top 5 or top 10 tight ends. Now you have to be able to draft these type of players and have the right scheme and playbook. But what could have been, and then we only got to see it for a short period of time. But if Hernandez, he definitely would have won Super Bowls with Tom and Gronk. I mean, it could have been amazing. The crossing routes, the fucking curl routes, the post routes. I mean, it would have been just crazy. Because we already know Hernandez was a fantastic athlete. They had a lot of gangbangers and a lot of thugs for the Florida Gators. A lot of them end up having checkered past and whatnot. But what could have been? There's a goat for you. But that's one thing that nobody can ever take away, is the pursuit of greatness. And even though he wasn't the most athletic, he was the hardest working. And again, if you work the hardest, you don't have to be the best athlete. And he proved that. Again, he could be just a pocket quarterback, can't run away. And it didn't matter. He got rid of the football. He knew where to throw the ball. He put in more time and energy and effort. He worked on his body by, the diet, and he, worked out more. Like I said, he did all the things that all the other quarterbacks weren't willing to do to be the greatest. And I really respect that, the people that put in that hard work that others are not willing to do. And also to have a guy like a party boy like Gronk that might have not been, the player that we saw if he was on another team. Like, imagine if Gronk was on the Browns. We're not even talking about him today. He might end up being a Pro Bowl tight end. But again, for him to be this goofy party animal kind of guy, he needed somebody like Tom to put him in his place, hey, you can party, but again, when it's, game time and everything, we need to be on the same page. And Gronk has to be super happy not only to have him in New England, but to follow him to Tampa and to be able to get that other ring. And, that friendship is very, very special between the two of them. Great duo. Oh, 100%. 100%. And I remember the day that, they announced that Brady was coming, to Tampa and Gronk as well. It was crazy, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, you just got to hope that they get some more opportunities in the second half. But also, if you're playing two tight ends, and one in your regular spot and one in the flex, there's also a risk doing that if the tight ends don't get enough opportunities. But also, you could have had Pickens in your flex and him doing nothing also. So, Edelman, Gronk, Hernandez, Wes Welker, right? Amendola. But Welker, though. Man, they always have a knack of, getting those similar type of receivers that, can run routes perfectly, like Edelman and Welker and Amendola. That made it very difficult. Like, if they were on other teams, we probably wouldn't even be talking about them. But they got on the perfect team at the perfect time to be able to utilize that offense. Yeah, still to this day. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were really one of the only teams that, had a lot of the Caucasian players, as far as, the skill positions. They might have a brother, running back, here and there, but typically, the tight end and the wide receivers were typically Caucasian, and you didn't really see that on any other team. But again, it may have not worked, on another team. Like if, Welker and Amendola and Julian Edelman were on the Browns, it would have never worked. But with the Pats, they found the right blend of player, and, regardless of black or white or Asian or Mexican, but they found the guys that they thought would work best for their system. But also remember, when they had Randy Moss, that was the year that they should have won and ended up scoring so many points that season. And then they just ran into Eli, and obviously, when you go to 10 Super Bowls, you're not going to win them all. But obviously, one loss to the Eagles and 2 to the Giants, and one of them was obviously with Strahan and one was with not. But sometimes that happens, when you end up having a player that's like a borderline Hall of Fame player like Eli, because he would have one good year and one bad year, one good year and one bad year. But man, that Randy Moss year, that was the year. I don't know if it was like the 72 Dolphins curse, and they wanted to be that only undefeated team, even if they only played a few games less, where they went like 14-0 because they had a shorter schedule instead of the Pats going 17. But that, out of all my years, watching football, that might have been one of the most dominant teams. I mean, those guys were throwing up 40, 50, 60 points almost every week. Him and Moss, I mean, it was like they were playing like backyard football. And again, I watched Joe Montana and Jerry Rice do the same thing when I was a kid on the Niners. But to see Tom and Randy do it was fucking crazy, man. Because obviously you knew Randy, they had some issues with maybe him taking some plays off when he was on the Raiders, right? And we knew he was great, on Minnesota. But we saw like a rebirth in his career when he went to New England, and it was amazing. Amendola. Yeah, I mean, you're still going to see those guys in commercials and podcasts together for sure. Zay in the building. What's good? Pretend that she's writing something. Let me pretend nod real quick for the camera. Nikki Glazier. What's up, Zay? What's good, brother? 14-3 Jets. I saw that. Little gritty at the end after the walk-off. Congratulations, dude. Mariners got, beat up, the last couple games, but we did win today against the Yankees 3-2, but, we're not going to make the playoffs. But, of course, I'm still going to, root. I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to, grind. I'm still going to be doing the streams, but it's just, too many games where we should have won against a much lower opponent. But when you play down to the competition, that's exactly what happened with Seattle. The consistency wasn't there. Too many strikeouts. You can't hit. You're not beating the teams that you're supposed to. So, when the time comes and we are officially eliminated, it is what it is. But again, it'll never deter my fandom. I will always root, but it definitely, it can be taxing and it can wear on you. It's like a fucking roller coaster every year with the Mariners and a few of my other teams that I root for. But, that's what it's about being a sport fan. It's not always going to be easy breezy cover girl. Sometimes you're going to have to go to hell and back. And once the team ends up going to hell and then you end up getting good, then you'll end up being able to celebrate in a different type of way compared to like a bandwagon fan that is, winning all the time, so they get numb to it. It doesn't mean anything. But when you end up being bad and then you get good, and then eventually if you win it all, it'll be an amazing day. And hopefully that'll be the case for my Mariners and my Oregon Ducks one day. I hope to have a pennant and a natty before I die out of those two teams. Even if it only happens once in my life, I want to be able to see it. I mean, I got 2 Super Bowls with the Bucks. I got 1 championship with the Blazers, but it was before I was born, so I don't count that. And obviously the Kraken are brand new, so obviously it's going to take time for the Kraken to do the damage in the NHL. So, but Mariners and Ducks would be the most special to me. And obviously if we can get the Bucks on another deep run with Baker baking, LFB, let's fucking bake. He's looking very, very good, very, very confident, and I'm very happy that it's finally worked out for Baker. A little immature coming out of college, bouncing around from the Browns to the Panthers and the Rams, and then finally finding a home, having a daughter, and maturing. And he's so easy to root for. Everyone likes him in the organization, and now you're starting to see fans from other teams. They're like, yeah, like I can root for this guy. He was in a bad spot mentally and had to kind of do like a self-reflection in the mirror, and have to understand that you just can't act like a 18-year-old for the rest of your life. You got to mature. And, he's got the support of everybody. And it's cool because the difference between the Bucks, in the last couple years compared to years past is that, Baker and a lot of the teammates, they actually hang out and are friends outside of the games. And some quarterbacks and some teams, it's not like that, where you have the wives that are friends or the girlfriends, and they actually genuinely like each other. They're not just smiling and talking shit behind each other's backs. They actually go to breakfast together. They actually go to activities together, and I think that creates a bond. And when you end up having that strength in numbers off the field, you get good results on the field. So I'm very excited to see what the Bucks are going to do, as well as Elliott's Saints. Let's go. All right, 14-3. New England gets the ball, I believe, here is what Oreo was saying. Only 18 plays, 11 passing yards, 40 total for New England. That's crazy. Look at that. 40 yards? He was since 2010. And then obviously Britt would be saying, well, put in fucking Drake May. Drake May could get 40 yards in 1 pass. And I would agree. But again, you're going to have to wait for the relationship with, Mayo and Brissett to, kind of dissolve. And then, we're going to have to see what the record is like. But 40 yards is ridiculous. This team has too good of a defense normally to, shit the bed that much on the offense. And we know Jets defense can be top 5. Patriots defense can be top 5, top 10, just like the Jets. They're very similar on defense, but obviously Aaron, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Conklin, they're getting the ball to their guys. We need to be able to find a quarterback to be able to get the ball to New England's guys. Jalen Polk, Hunter Henry, and Ramondre Stevenson, to be exact. Shit, Britt can throw 40 yards. Put her in the game. I agree. We're at 15, 85 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Let's get to 20. Last time I checked, we were at 16. We're at 17 now. We need 3 more to get to 20. Let's get to at least 20 before the game ends. Now we're at 18. Thank you so much. 2 more to get to 20, and I think we'll have a chance to get to 25 or 30, hopefully, before the stream ends. Ramondre Stevenson with a 1 or 2 yard gain. Offensive line needs a hell of a lot of work there. Quinnen Williams and company are just doing whatever they want. And the Jets don't have C.J. Mosley. Come on, offensive line. Do your job. Put a hat on a hat. Let's go. Reflect with a 5er. Appreciate you. We're at 20. 80 to go. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Go Mariners. Big 3-2 win today. Jalen Polk, baby. Go Huskies. Great timing by Reflect to come in the game, and then Polk makes a play. To me, he's one of the biggest playmakers on this Patriot team. If you watch him game in and game out, you can line him up on the outside, in the slot. You could line him up pretty much anywhere on the field, and to me, he's the best option besides Hunter Henry, and then obviously Ramondre Stevenson's your running back. But if you're going to be going to the air, Henry and Polk should be the guys you're looking at. You know, not Douglas and these other guys that they have out there. I mean, you can get plays from those guys, but terrible throw there by Brissett. What was that? And he goes down. Hopefully he's okay. Britt says, well, if he's got an injury, bring in Drake May, damn it. Go M's. And Shohei Ohtani doing Shohei Ohtani things. 3 home runs, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bags. You know, it was 40-40 with Jose Canseco, but he did steroids and PEDs. Shohei Ohtani is just doing it clean. I mean, him and Aaron Judge are just such a joy to watch. It's like every day, you never know what history might be made. And him. Gang tackle by New England. Don't get a penalty. (14-3) Jets. New England just needs a play, you know. And again, obviously with the new rules with the kickoff and whatnot, like punt returns and kick returns, it seems like it's kind of harder to be able to score that way. But you got to punch the football out. You know, you got to be able to get an interception, a sack lunch, something defensively, because obviously the offense is not doing their job. They're getting dominated here right now, so they need help. Reflect with a 3-er. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Go Mariners. We play the Rangers tomorrow at 5, and I will be live streaming that. We're at 23. 77 to go, baby. Thank you for all of your guys' support. It means a lot. And again, we've been definitely rolling in the right direction for the subs as well. So, you know, hopefully, you know, as I keep doing the reaction videos and keep pumping out the Mariner live streams and the Duck live streams and the NFL live streams, you know, we'll be at 20,600, you know, hopefully within a couple weeks. And it might end up being within, you know, a few days, kind of just depending on, you know, if I can get traction with the algorithm in their reaction videos. Like, I know the Saints ones are always going to get, like, you know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 views. But for every other team, it's kind of a crapshoot, you know, based on, you know, who's watching them on YouTube and if I can hit the algorithm. And they haven't really helped me out, you know, in the algorithm besides the Saints ones. You know, obviously Saints fans always love, you know, they're always going to be my #1 fans with the reaction videos because I'm probably the only Buck fan on planet Earth that will actually give them the proper praise, you know, that normally they're never going to hear, you know, from like a rival fan, from a rival fan base. You know, normally a Buck fan would just be all talking shit left and right. So I know it's refreshing for them to be able to hear someone like me that's respected in the NFL game, to be able to say, you know what, you're a rival, but I really like what you got going on. And the biggest X factor for them is Kubiak. Once you end up getting someone that calls the correct plays and you got AK-41 there, that's really the big difference that you're seeing. Reflect with another $5. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. And again, they've been raising a lot of the rates on me. So anytime that I can end up getting a dono train like this, it means a lot. Like even this program that I'm using right now is going to cost me $45 a month starting next month, not $25. And I'm already paying $100 a month for a gig service. So that's just to be able to do the dream. You're looking at $145 a month. And some days we'll get that in one day in a dono, but other times it might take multiple days to get that much. So I appreciate it very, very much. Reflect with his own dono train. Thank you so much, man. You are a sports legend, an icon. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. And maybe we'll get some others to follow suit. But in the meantime, Reflect is on doing a solo dono train, which it means a lot. I work very hard here. And I know not everyone's got the finances to be able to do what Reflect does, but if you do, it will mean a lot. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. $14 dono on top of a 23er. Rogers, running like he's at University of California, Berkeley. First down, Jets. Thank you, Zay. Appreciate that. And, we've been really low on the Cash App, like really low on the Cash App and the Venmo. So, again, if you do appreciate all the hard work that I'm putting in, I don't get anything for the reaction videos, just based on your subs and views. But it's not like I don't get anything like donation-wise. So, again, it does mean a hell of a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reflect. And Zay's got a dono in here for a 20 as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you. But again, things are very expensive. And again, I want to continue doing the stream for the rest of my life. And, just to stream, it's $145, $100 for the internet and $45 for the program. And again, yeah, there's other programs I could use that might be slightly cheaper, but it's not going to give me the option for maybe the ticker or the photos. And those are very important for me on this channel. I got to have the ticker and I want to be able to have the photo option rather than not, because that's a part of who I am. So thank you so much. Thank you, Zay. Thank you, Reflect. And again, if you can donate through the Super Chat, if you can donate through Venmo, through Cash App, it really does help a lot. Thank you, Zay. Thank you, Reflect. Zay with a 20. And it's not like I buy anything for myself. It's not like I'm rich. Literally everything goes to Bills and Paisley. That is it. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little cactus jack, bang, bang. But I hope one day, we get more people to contribute, that maybe I will be able to buy something for myself, down the road. Like, maybe like a new hat. I know it sounds silly to some people, but, when you're working every day, sometimes something as simple as a new beanie or hat or t-shirt or jersey or shoes or, it goes a long way, new chain or whatever it may be. Especially when you haven't really been able to do that. So, but I got plenty of merch over the years. I'm a collector of cards and sports memorabilia, and I have so many jerseys in the closet already. It's like, that's more of like a luxury. I would rather use that to take care of Paisley rather than, buying like a jersey for myself. She's always going to come first in my book. So thank you so much, you guys. Odin in the building. What's good, brother? SmackDown getting another hour once they end up going to obviously another opportunity from Netflix, right? So we're going to get that. Hi, Paisley. Paisley's, I guess, sitting by the door waiting for Dad. Hi. First down and 10, 14-3. Jets. Appreciate that. Reflect and Zay helping out on the Go No train. Captain Oreo started it off. Megan did a tenor, but had to leave to go to a Seahawk member stream, so we might get her back here before it ends. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang bang. $20 holla. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to go get Paisley some. Snacks. I think. I'll go get some snacks. Hold on. Appreciate you guys very much. I'll get you snack in a second, Paisley. Rogers, hands off. Allen, the rookie, who's showing a little bit of promise here. Let me go grab some food for Paisley here real quick, and I'll be right back. Give me 1 sec. All right, I'm back. I just had to make sure I took care of the Paisley pup. Thank you. Appreciate you for all the support. Let them know. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Odin in the building. What's good, brother? Missed you, bro. Yeah, I find myself when I listen to music, you know, I end up listening to like older music than really what's current that's out. Like I prefer, you know, music from like kind of my childhood from like the 80s and 90s, but I do like old school music from like the 60s. You know, like I have a particular radio station that usually is on in my house, you know, for a good chunk of the day. And, you know, it's like music that actually, you know, has good lyrics and substance, you know, and a lot of those songs that you hear from like back in the 60s or in a lot of TV shows and movies and little spots on things that you might be seeing, you know, currently and whatnot. But again, it kind of just depends on what your mood is. You know, if you're in a metal mood, if you're in a pop mood, you know, if you're kind of in an OG classic mood, if you're in a rap or a hip hop mood, or if you're in a country mood. But, you know, for me, it's like a lot of the music that's kind of out currently now within the last 5, 10, 15 years, there's some good stuff, you know, that's out there. But again, I feel it's like a lot harder to be able to find like quality, good, solid music, you know, within, you know, the current stuff, you know. But I guess it depends on the genre that you listen to. Because I know obviously with like the hip hop genre, it's not good. You know, there's a lot of stuff that is older that's much better, you know. I guess it just depends if you like mumble rap or, you know, the bullshit that they put out now, you know. But a lot of it is not. I mean, some stuff will have like a good beat, or you might have an artist that you like, but you know, I'm an OG, so I like the classics. I like the old school stuff. You know, give me old school like Tupac or Biggie. You know, give me something like that, or just give me something like, you know, Guns N' Roses or Metallica or Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Give me something like that actually has some substance and some meaning to it. Give me some Ozzy. Give me some Beatles. Give me something old school. Anything I can do photo-wise for you, Zay, or Reflect? I know Reflect really doesn't care about the photos like some people do in the room. He just does it to support, and then I can usually do like a Better Call Saul photo at the end and whatnot. But if there is anything that you want to see or represent, like Seahawk-wise or anything, I've been watching a lot of film on the Seahawks and a lot of articles and obviously a lot of rankings. And again, Hawks getting disrespected where they ended up having the poll, who's a pretender and who's a contender. And all of the teams that were like, the good ones, obviously, with like the Saints and the Bucks, contender. And if you have like the Chargers and the Vikings as pretenders, fine. But to put Seattle with teams like the Chargers, who are better with Harbaugh, coaching-wise, it shows you coaching is everything. Or like the Vikings with Sam Darnold. But to act like the Seahawks are like some pretend fake team, ridiculous, man. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this West Coast bias, but it almost makes me want Seattle to win the NFC West the very first year, with all the disrespect. It's like, I know the Niners are good, but they have injuries, and we know the Rams are, injury riddled, so they're not going to have a chance. The Cardinals look like they're better than the Rams based off the injuries. That will be able to get third. But is Seattle really that far behind the San Francisco 49ers? I really do think that there is a legitimate shot that Seattle wins the division this year if they can stay injury-free and if McDonald can keep hyping up the defense and the O-line, because that's really been the problem for them. But if the O-line and the defense play lights out, they're going to have a shot at the end of the year where they might be only 1 or 2 games from each other. One team might have 12 wins, the other might have 10, or it might be, one team has 12 and the other has 11. It might be as close as that. So, I just don't like seeing teams, get disrespected, but it shows you if you get a new coach or a good coordinator, Kubiak for the Saints, right? Cohen for the Bucks, right? McDonald for the Seahawks. Like, if you get these new pieces, Harbaugh for the Chargers, it makes all the difference. Rodgers, touchdown, Jets. Garrett Wilson with the footwork and the hand placement to get it into the end zone. That was beautiful. And obviously with Garrett Wilson, if you guys saw the pregame show on Prime, he was a child that when he was born, they thought that he wouldn't even make it after one day, based on, I don't know if it was a premature birth or the defects and, whatever the situation may have been. But a very kind of heartwarming story between him and his dad in the pregame show with Clarissa there. And, I think he's like, what, the fourth kid, the fourth brother, out of maybe 4 or 5. And crazy story about Garrett Wilson, but he's got a great connection with him and his dad. Kick is up, and it's good. 21-3 Jets. Yeah, and obviously with like Megan, always loving, JSN and Seattle defense, but the fact that, the position of Seattle defense being picked was too high. But now as you're watching, the defense is actually like playing like a top 5, top 10 defense. JSN, it looks like he's, one of the, main guys. Obviously, he already surpassed Tyler Lockett now for sure. And you got a guy that I have on my bench with Charbonnet. Even if he doesn't start, and let's say Walker starts, he kind of looks like the David Montgomery of last year, where you can have an RB2 still get 10 to 15 points every week, and that's Charbonnet. Now, if obviously Walker sits, I know that Charbonnet can end up getting 15 to 20. But if they have to do both, it could be like a David Montgomery like last year, where Gibbs is going to get more points, but you can still rely on Montgomery. And for Charbonnet, it looks like this year for 10 to 15 points with upside. So again, when offenses are flowing, anything is possible, not only with the RB1, but also the RB2. So I really like what I'm seeing from certain teams, and congratulations on that. Again, a coaching change is sometimes all you need to be able to change the aura and the vibe and just everything about the organization. And also those little subtle details, instead of having captains with Pete Carroll all year and it's the same guy or same five, they do it every week. So that way guys that have good practices will get rewarded for their good play. Brilliant. I like those little changes, and you don't want to actually do everything the same as your previous coach, just like with Mayo and Belichick, you're going to do things differently. But again, if you're going to do it different, it has to work. It has to be a smart decision and everything lining up, and it's only, week 3, so obviously we know it's not the whole season. We can't really project on what's going to happen, but we kind of have an idea, on who's going to be good this year and who's not. So yeah, JSN and TK, these guys can, both get, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 catches in a game. And JSN has taken, the spot for sure over Tyler Lockett. (21-3) Jets. Come on, New England. I didn't think New England's offense would be so stagnant, but again, you have to know who your playmakers are, and having 40 yards of offense, the lowest since like 2010, is unexcusable. Put in Drake May, right? Put him in. Start going to Jalen Polk, start going to Hunter Henry, and then you can start moving this offense and getting, first downs. Obviously, the run defense is very elite for the Jets, so you're not going to get a whole lot of Ramondre Stevenson right up the gut. So you have to use creative ways to get him the ball. Screen passes, whatever it may be, but, counters, bouncing it on halfback tosses, but just running up Ramondre Stevenson 3 times up the gut is going to lead to a punt every time, unless he ends up breaking a tackle. There we go. Douglas with the catch. First down, Patriots. We haven't said that too much today. Yeah. Once you guys get your Brock Bowers, watch out, NFL. I'm telling you. That's that last. There's still more pieces to upgrade, obviously on the offensive line, D-line, overall defensive depth, linebackers, secondary, but once you get that tight end like a Brock Bowers, then it's going to be, wow, Seattle's got a top 5 offense, especially if the offensive line continues to grow as well. But McDonald has done a great job with the O-line as well as the defense. Go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. There we go. It wasn't Hunter Henry, though. That was Austin Hooper. But, hey, another athletic tight end. You got to be able to get them the ball. Let's go. Yeah, but again, if they can get the ball towards the goal line, then you're going to get your cheap touchdown out of Ramondre. Normally if they go against a shitty defense, Ramondre can get, 12 to 25 points if their run defense is terrible. But the Jets are, pretty stout. Even if they don't got C.J. Mosley, you're not going to get a lot. But if they can just kind of work their way as close to the 5-yard line as possible, then you're going to get a couple attempts from Stevenson, and then you're going to get your 6-7 points, and then eventually you'll get to 10, and that's the bare minimum at a running back. And then hopefully, in the fourth quarter, you get a little bit more where you can possibly get, 14 to 16 points, and then you don't feel as bad by sitting at like a 1 or a 2 right now. And complete. 3rd down and 4. They just need to be able to implement. Some of these other, play callers and get them the ball. I've already seen enough film on the Pats. It's like you got names out there, Douglas and Austin Hooper, right? But again, who's going to be able to make the best yak yards after a play? Henry and Jalen Polk at the rookie. It's clear. Get those guys the ball. Shotgun set, 3rd down and 4. Get open. Terrible. What is that? Brissett? Flag on the play. There we go. Like, why are you going to Douglas so often? What the hell's going on here? Put in Drake May, damn it. I mean, he'll be able to throw, more interceptions than Brissett, but you'll actually get more yards and more big plays, and they'll be funner to watch. So if the team is going to be losing anyways, you might as well, put that quarterback in. Offsetting penalties, holding on the O. Pass interference on the D. Offsetting. Brissett on 3rd down and 4. There we go. There we go. But a flag on the play. That's probably going to be a hold. And it'll probably come back. But come on, New England. O-line is getting beat the fuck up. Andrews, Pitts, or Kincaid? Oh, I don't know. I mean, all of them have not really done a whole lot so far in this part of the season. I'm not really sure that's a tough one. Again, normally we'd be like Andrews right away, but he's not really getting the ball. Pitts, isn't really getting the ball. Kincaid ain't getting the ball. I don't know. I probably would go Andrews, just hoping that, Lamar would eventually get him the ball. And if they're 0-2 and they're down, even with Likely, Isaiah Likely being there, you would assume at some point, Andrews will get it. So I think that's probably the best option, even though those three are all kind of struggling. And there's a flag. But yeah, I think I would go Andrews. Andrews has the most upside, I think, out of the three. Then Pitts and then Kincaid. But again, Kincaid, it all depends on who gets the damn ball. So are there tight end on the bench? Oh, so you got someone better than that already? Yeah, but I would go Andrews. That's my personal thing. I mean, yeah, Pitts and Kincaid could get hot at some point or another, but so could Andrews. But none of them are doing anything huge at the moment. But, Pitts has got Kirk Cousins. We know Kincaid got Allen, and Andrews, you would assume even with Isaiah Likely, at some point, Andrews will be able to get 10 to 15 points at least a few times this season, all three of them, right? At some point, but I think that's where I would go. I got a little bit more trust, I think, in Andrews as long as he doesn't get hurt. So, no problem. But all three are kind of equal right now. There's not really one that is like, oh my God, that guy's so much better than the other two. Like, all of them have not really done a whole lot. And it's not because they suck. It's just that the quarterbacks are not getting the tight ends the ball. Unless you are Brock Bowers and the Raiders or Trey McBride. Those would be the two tight ends to grab if you had a choice. You could get those two. That's where I would have gone. Hell, if I would have known Sam Laporta wasn't going to get the goddamn ball, I would have went Brock Bowers. Hell, I probably would have went Trey McBride if I would have known that he's going to get the ball as much as he does with Kyler. But hopefully Laporta will show flashes of what he did last year. But the first 2 weeks, getting like 3 points isn't cutting it for me. And I don't even have a backup because I'm just trying to be stubborn and hopefully it'll turn around. But not a whole lot on the wire for me to get. I could grab someone else and put him in and get 3 points just like Laporta. But I got to be able to trust Goff that he'll turn it around. You wanted Bowers, but someone grabbed him? Yeah. Well, if Bowers is number one, McBride is 2 right now. That could change as the year goes on. But typically guys that are normally young and, obviously not saying that Kelsey and Andrews and Kittle and like a lot of the OGs that were the top 4 for years and years and years aren't going to do anything. But sometimes there is a new wave in offenses, and then, obviously with Bowers and the Raiders, they're giving him so many targets, and Trey McBride is getting a lot too. Hey, guy, what's good? Raiders. We talk about Bowers, and a Raider fan shows up. How are you, hey, guy? Take it easy, bro. Have a good time. Thank you so much for all your support. And again, if I don't see you later today, I'll get you some photos tomorrow when we do the Mariners and the Rangers at 5. Go Mariners. Thank you for supporting to the maximum of your ability every day that you can. It means a lot. And take it easy on the rest of the people in the fantasy league. You're too dominant, my guy. That's a goat right there. Reflect. Appreciate you. Did you finish your draft? Did you get all your players? Or is it still going? You said it started at 7, so it's not over yet. I would assume. Yeah, fantasy drafts are always stressful. Megan in the building. What's good? Let me know what you want to do for your dono earlier in the stream. How was the members stream for B and the 12s? Was it good? Oh yeah, that's right. Only 6 people because it's a family one. That's right. Alan in the building. What's good? Yeah, but for the time being, Gino's release right now, he's not a bridge quarterback. Right now, he's playing like a top 8, top 10 quarterback. So for all the Hawks haters saying that they need another quarterback and he's just a bridge guy, Gino is already showing, like Baker Mayfield, they may not be the most popular, right? Compared to others, that are out there in the league, but they are taking care of business. I ended up watching some film earlier today going over Geno Smith's release time in the last 2 years and this year, and there's a dramatic improvement on him getting the release out of his hands. And again, everyone's playing well. Offensive line, Charles Cross has been rated one of the highest tackles the first 2 weeks. That never happened before. JSN is emerging as the number 2 now. Everything is coming together besides the Kenneth Walker oblique injury, but Charbonnet's looking like a David Montgomery. Everything is coming into play for the Hawks, and with all the disrespect that they're getting, I hope you guys actually win the division over the Niners. The Niners were my team growing up as a kid, even though I didn't claim them, and they're always going to have injuries, and they have that top-tier talent, but I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the Hawks getting disrespected, like they're just not a good team, they're just getting lucky. And again, McDonald coming in 2-0. Ravens obviously losing McDonald 0-2. Coincidence? Bet your ass there's a coincidence there. Coaching is everything. 21-3 Jets, but you may have to wait until year 2 or year 3 to win the division. But if you keep playing like you do in the first 2 weeks, you might actually be able to do it this year, where you guys win 12 and the Niners win 11, or vice versa. It's going to be right there. It could be 1 game difference, maybe 2. Rodgers. First down, Jets. Move the chains. Yeah, send me your roster. Let me take a peek. But obviously there was growing pains early in Geno's career, right? Obviously with the Hawks. And obviously, playing at West Virginia and then, being on the Jets. I mean, no one was going to be good playing on that organization. But again, going from a guy that might only be temporary for a couple of years, and the same thing was said for Baker. We don't really know if this guy is going to be it, but based on what we've seen this year from both, it looks like they're going to be there. I'm going to have Baker on my team longer. You're going to have Geno. Geno's only going to be there for a couple more years based off his age, but I might have Baker for the next 5 to 10, and I'm completely happy about that. But the coaching is everything, and getting that ball out of his hands at release time has been drastically improved this year. But also the emergence of the offensive line being improved definitely helps. And obviously JSN taking the torch from Lockett as being the 2. That definitely helps as well. Just good depth, 2 good running backs, 3 good wide receivers. Now the only piece that you need, that Reflect was in here earlier, you guys need a Brock Bowers. And once you guys get your Brock Bowers in a year or 2, that offense is going to be scary good. Like, they might end up being a top 5 offense in the league. They just need that elite tight end. And then how do you cover that team? Especially if they keep adding to the O-line, adding to the defense, and then they get a Brock Bowers or a Trey McBride. That could be huge. So eventually in the future, that's what they're going to be looking at. More O-line, more defensive depth, and a tight end. First down and 10 for the Jets. On the New England 43. Rodgers, little check down. First down, Jets. Move the chains. Conklin with the catch. Every maybe 6 to 8 games, he'll have a breakout game, like once or twice a season. Conklin. All right, I got you. We're almost at the end of the third quarter here. Second down and 1. Rodgers, hands off. Short game. All right, no worries. Have a good rest of your day, brother, and good luck, obviously, with your pizza job once you go to that next week. And tomorrow we'll be live at 5 Pacific, so 2 your time in Hawaii for the Rangers and the Mariners. Have a good rest of your day, Matt. Go Ducks. Okay. Ooh, I like. You got a lot of players that I would have gotten. Very good. Jalen, Brees, Bajan, Amon-Ra. Zay is very good this year. Andrews is still kind of we don't really know, but to pair it up with Flowers, there you go. Alvin Kamara, Aubrey at kicker. I have Aubrey as well. I like it. Very good. Solid. And really the only weak spot is Andrews, and you already knew that going in. That's why you asked, between him or Pitts or Kincaid. But since that you have Flowers there, and there's going to be, and then 49ers defense, money. Good job. Good job, Brett. I always knew that you were incredibly smart. Great job. I mean, obviously it being, 6 men, women, family league, but based on those players, I would have taken a lot of those same players that, because there's certain players, that you have kind of an attachment to, based on you trust them. And there's going to be certain players in our league that others will roster, and I never will roster them. Never. It's just never going to happen, either because they have injuries or whatever the situation is for me. But there's also players that I will always try to draft every year because I trust them. 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, and you got Kelsey on the bench. So you can go back and forth between Kelsey and Andrews. And at some point, hopefully someone will step up for you. So, we got a Jet injury. He's wiggling on the ground. That's not good. Helmet is off, and he is wiggling like a snake. Hopefully he's all right. Someone took Allen, first pick. Yeah, you don't want to take a quarterback in the draft in the first round typically, but Elliott took Lamar in the first round and surprised all of us, and he's 2-0 so far. We'll see if it lasts as we go throughout the year. But typically, you don't want to go for a quarterback until round 3, 4, or 5 if you can hold off. I mean, obviously running backs and wide receivers are very important to get that depth. And then eventually once one quarterback goes off the board, Allen, then you can go to Jalen, and depending on where you go at that point. But it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a running quarterback, like an Allen, Lamar, or a Jalen, or if you're looking for more of a pocket guy, or a sleeper guy like Baker or Carr, you never know how things are going to pan out. So. Oh, you did your dad dirty. Said, Dad, McCaffrey's injured. He's like, okay, I don't want him. And then you just put him on injured reserve. And then when he comes back, if he's healthy, he'll put up 25 points a game. And he's got upside to put up 50. So, I mean, you literally could single-handedly win your week by Christian McCaffrey alone. I got McCaffrey and Kupp injured, and I'm missing 50 points a week, and it's hurting me. But, again, I just got to pray that they come back, and when they do, they're healthy. And then I can start mashing in the league. Yeah, Zini's got a squad, a lot of the people in the league. If you actually look, like I said, I think not my problem. I feel that this league is much deeper based on how people drafted. Because normally there's a few people that fuck up really bad in the draft, and it's pretty top heavy. But I think that this year, I mean, it is really, really close. And again, we only got 4 spots in the playoffs, and I feel that when it's all settled in, there's probably going to be like 6 teams that are worthy of a playoff spot, and then there'll be 2 that are close, and then there'll be the 2 teams kind of at the bottom. But I mean, if Chief Will Chief isn't going to try, then everyone's going to beat him every week, so we'll see on how it goes. And obviously with Sarah, I know she'll be able to get her first win sooner than later, and then she'll be right there with all the rest of us. So, but again, you got to work the wire, you got to read, you got to watch the games, you got to keep up on it, because if you don't, then people like me and Reflect and Oreo and a few others are going to take advantage, and you just got to pray that you don't got the injuries. So. Morgan Moses. And we're getting close to the end of the third quarter. I'm loading some photos here for Megan. Bro, like I said, I'm on it like 4 or 5 hours a day. Like I look at my team, refresh, I spy on everyone else's team. I look on the wire to see if anyone did anything. Like I'm always trying to, I'm on there all the time. And I'm always, going to other team websites and reading, and watching film. But when it's fantasy season, like I might be recording the most fantasy time on the app than anyone on planet Earth. Like I'm on it like an unnecessary amount of time. But again, if I'm just like hanging out with Paisley and I'm watching like a TV show in the background, it's something that I need to be able to do. And like I said, I've never been in a position where I've been 1-1 after the first 2 weeks. Never. But again, I normally don't play the champion from the previous year, week number 2. And we both shit the bed, and we both had bad weeks. He had 125, I had 110. But again, when you have 4 players that get 9 or less, what am I supposed to do? AR, he shit the bed. Thanks a lot, AR. 9 points, 3 picks. No, thank you. Right? Sam Laporta with a 3. What the fuck is that? Right? Mike Evans with a 7. What the fuck is that? And then Cooper Kupp with a 7, but he got hurt. So I think that if Cooper didn't get hurt, I might have been able to win that game with just him falling out. But overall, you can't afford to have, you might be able to get away with 1 or 2 spots like I did week 1, where I wasn't able to take McCaffrey out, got a 0, got a -2 on the Chief defense, and I still ended up scoring the most points in the week, 140 plus, with 7 good spots and a 0 and a -2. But it shows you, if you got 3 or 4 bad spots out of 9, you are fucked. Unless one of those spots hits like a 50 to make up for your bad production. If you get a 40 or a 50, you can probably have 3 or 4 guys do shitty, but that's the only way. Appreciate you, Megan. Captain Oreo with a dono. Megan with a dono. Reflect with many donos. Zay with a dono. Appreciate you. And we'll throw in some Glens for Brett and Megan so they can drool a little bit here in between the commercial as we go into the 4th. Cook, Brown, Olave, Wilson, Kelsey. Nice team. All right, 4th quarter, baby. Come on, New England. Do something. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, if you find the reserve spots, that's where you're going to put the guy. Your dad figured it out. He's like, I'm not that dumb. Nice. And again, you know, it just depends if these guys can be healthy when they come back. But if they can be, Puka, Cooper Kupp, Christian McCaffrey, you know, guys like that could be, you know, league winners, you know, if they are healthy. Because, again, these are guys that can put up 15, 20, 25, 30, sometimes even 40 or 50 points, depending on, you know, the matchup. But they have to stay healthy. So, nice team. Good job, Britt. Nice. That's my Brett. It's like, oh, let me do the draft grade. Oh, 15-0. Hey, you're going to win the championship. But again, you have to manage the injuries. And obviously injuries have been crazy the first 2 weeks. And hopefully it starts to slow down a little bit. Or if we do get injuries, that they end up being, you know, not the superstar players. Like, let's get some injuries to, like, wide receiver 3 or, you know, backup linebacker, you know, or something like that. Not like, oh, star running back, top 5 player in the world, or star wide receiver. You know, it's like we need to be able to have our players play. We can't just have all the best players in the world injured within the first month. And I've never seen this many, like, big injuries to superstars in the first 2 weeks. It usually takes by week 4, week 5. Then they start trickling in, but not in the first 2. And we've had a lot of people on injured reserve. I mean, it's one thing if they're just questionable or doubtful and you're injured for a week. Fuck it, who cares? But when you're out for a month, that can really derail your chances, you know, on doing some damage in the league when you don't have one of your top guys for a whole fucking month or longer. And there's a fumble, and the Jets recover. Wow. Let's see if he was down or not. Let me look at the replay. Wow, that ball is out. Easily out. Yeah, I think the draft was a good thing for you, because otherwise you would be too angry watching this performance. Because New England is better than this. You know, we already knew it would be tough for them to win this game. But again, based on how they played in the first 2 weeks, I thought the defense would be a little bit better, and I felt the offense would be slightly better too. You know, I figured that New England at this point in the game would have at least 13 points. So for them to be at 3 is a little shocking. But again, you know, maybe this will be the loss that they need to encourage maybe the transition to Drake May. You know, sometimes you got to have a couple bad losses before you can, you know, make the change. Second down and 6. Rodgers with the hard count, trying to draw him off sides like he's on Green Bay still. Hand off. Good tackle. Davis goes down. Lots of injuries today, too. We're at 122. 78 to go to the next goal. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. I don't even know what we're at number-wise, but hopefully we're at 20 at least. I was hoping to get to 25 or 30. Nice catch. Mike Williams doing Mike Williams things. We're at 21. We need 4 more to get to 25. I don't know if we're going to get to 30, but if we get to 25, that'll be good. So we need 3 more. We're at 22 now. Thank you to whoever that was. Maybe that was a guy. 3 more to get to 25. Let's go, baby. Yeah, good protection there with Brees with the block. But really the difference in this game, besides obviously the quarterback play between Rodgers and Brissett and the weapons, is the offensive line. The New England offensive line is not giving Brissett enough time to go through the progressions, and you got to be able to go to the right receivers or tight ends. Rodgers, bootleg, sliding. And you got to be careful there at MetLife with that turf. I mean, that turf monster is eating up more legs and Achilles and MCL, PCL, ACLs than maybe any other field in football. Got to be very careful. Good decision there to slide by Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but even with the offensive line being piss poor, Drake May would get more interceptions, but he'd at least throw the ball down the field more, and it would be more exciting. He would complete more passes than Brissett. Brissett is a backup that's in the starter role, and he's the vet. So they're just waiting for him to fuck up, and then eventually you're going to get Drake May, in the game. Instead of starting with Drake May for 4 games, he goes 0 for 4. Then you go with Brissett for the rest of the season. They typically go with the vet first, wait for the vet to fuck up. They go 1-3 or 0-4. Then you can have Drake May come in after Brissett for the rest of the year. But I don't really know when the shift or the change will happen. And it also depends on Mayo and how much he likes Jacoby Brissett. If him and Brissett are boys, then we might be able to see Brissett a little bit longer before Drake May gets a chance. We might see Drake May at the end of the year when they've been eliminated from the playoffs with the last 4 games, or we might not even see him at all, and we might have to wait till next year. But again, if you're already going to be kind of a team in transition that's struggling a little bit, it wouldn't hurt to be able to see what the new kid can do. He's going to be better than Mac Jones. I mean, if that's the fear that he's going to be Mac Jones, he'll be better than Mac. I mean, I watched enough tape at North Carolina. He's got some skill set. I mean, there's going to be a risk factor involved. But, I mean, if you want at least a guy that can get the ball to the tight end and the receivers, that's Drake May. But the offensive line definitely needs to be improved. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate you. I'm going to all my back accounts for you, baby. 3rd down and 3. Oh, good defense there by New England. That should have been a touchdown. Jones punching it away from Mike Williams. He can't believe it. 4th down and 3. Field goal units coming out. Now, if you're a little bit more competitive with Brissett and the game is 21-17, then okay, yeah, we're not going to see May for a while. But when it's like this, again, it's very clear. And we already know May would get fucked up. He'd get sack lunch. He'd throw some bad picks. But also, he'd give you more excitement than Brissett's going to give you. All Brissett's going to do is check downs and intermediate throws. That's all he can do. You're not going to see Brissett go for a 40-yard tutty that often, maybe a couple times in the season. But Drake May got that ability where he might be able to do it once or twice a game. Maybe not for a touchdown, but at least to give you that excitement, maybe get some PI calls and go deep, You want to make sure that at least the fan base is kind of excited for the future, right? Now, 24-3, Jets. I agree. Put him in, baby. He's got an arm. I mean, if you watched any North Carolina games in college, he's got an arm. But again, when he had Josh Downs, who ended up going to the Colts, he was really good like 2 years ago. Then last year, he didn't really have that good of a season because he didn't really have a lot of NFL receivers or talent around him. But the previous year, he was money, But again, it's just you need to get the reps and the time. And eventually we're going to see him, and we're going to see Michael Penix Jr. as well. But if you're looking at the quarterback draft class this season, Caleb's going to have ups and downs, right? Bo Nix is going to have ups and downs. Jaden Daniels looks like the best quarterback so far, but he even has problems throwing the football accurately. He'll be able to run better than any other quarterback, and Jaden is good at running away. We saw him do it at LSU, and he can do it on the Commandos. But as far as that touch on his throws, a lot of this quarterback class has got a lot of work to do. But I am definitely interested to see what Drake May can provide, as well as Michael Penix Jr. when the time is right. But if you do have a bad offensive line, it really doesn't matter who you put in; they're going to get fucked up. So, well, it all depends on if someone's mentally strong or not, mentally tough. Not every quarterback is built the same way. I mean, we're talking about quarterbacks getting ruined. We're talking to like Bryce Young, on Carolina. But as long as we're not talking about Carolina, everyone else has got a little bit of hope. But again, if Bryce still has his mentals, on his shoulders still, he might be able to go to another team at some point and, have a rebirth in his career. I mean, we've seen it with Baker Mayfield and a few others. You just got to be able to find the right team and the right spot. And it might take a few years, to be able to find that right connection. So. Yeah, that team was so bad, it didn't even matter if he played right away or not, though. He was going to get fucked up regardless. Bad coach, bad owner, bad GM, bad offensive line, bad running backs, bad wide receivers, bad defense. I mean, it doesn't really matter in that situation. You could have played him right away or sat him for 3 years. He still was going to be shitty. Again, that organization is shitty. So, I mean, hell, the Panthers might end up being the worst team in football for another 2 years after this year. It might be 4 straight years in a row, regardless of what they do in the draft or free agency. Tepper is probably the worst owner in the NFL. Everyone complains about some of the others, but that guy is a terrible owner. Shotgun set. First down, Patriots. Move the chains. And even if Drake May struggles a little bit, he'll be better than Mac Jones. I don't really believe in Alabama quarterbacks. I mean, again, Jalen is the exception because he went to Oklahoma as well. But, if you go back and look at all the Alabama quarterbacks, not really. I mean, you could have said the same thing about Oregon and Ohio State until recently. Sometimes certain schools develop quarterbacks better. And it also depends if you're doing a pro-style offense or a college offense. And if you do a college offense and like a spread, sometimes those quarterbacks, it takes a little bit longer to transition to pro-style. Screen pass incomplete to Hunter Henry. 3rd down and 8. Come on, baby. Jalen Polk, get him the damn ball. Hunter Henry, go to at least one of your athletic weapons that can get you some yak yards. And offensive line, do your job and block. We got trips right. Shotgun set by Brissett. Pressure up the gut. And that offensive line, golly. 12 noon, you know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. But when you're going against guys like Quinnen Williams, even though they don't got C.J. Mosley, you see the depth that the Jets defense has. Tough. And obviously, no mobility. And that's another thing, too, with these two New England quarterbacks, Brissett and Drake May. They don't really have good footwork, at least not initially from what we've seen. They're not going to be able to scramble out of the pocket like a Lamar, or a Jalen Hurts or a Josh Allen or like an AR. They're kind of pocket quarterbacks. So, again, if you don't have very good mobility, you got to be super accurate, and you have to have a good, quick release where you're getting rid of the ball quickly. And if you're not able to do that, then there's going to be a lot of sack lunches in the future. But hopefully things will get a little bit better. William in the building. What's good? I don't think we even have a Brady that's in the league right now. I mean, if we're talking about a guy that takes care of his body, does more workouts and research than anybody else, even though he was a pocket guy, but quick release, the intelligence, again, a lot of the quarterbacks now, it's obviously a passing league, but obviously we're seeing a lot of dual threat quarterbacks. Sometimes if you end up, doing too much running, you end up getting injured. We saw that with AR last year. RG3, Colin Kaepernick, and sometimes that can end up being like a gimmick. But again, you can also have guys like Lamar, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen that know when to go down, instead of putting their body in risk. So, but for, stationary pocket guys, I mean, you better pray that you got a good play caller, a great O-line, and a quick release. Otherwise, it's going to be definitely a transitional period. Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll get, slightly better as the season goes on. It's like, let's try to get New England at least a touchdown before the game ends. Can we get them to 10? But also, too, it's like you haven't really seen sack lunches. You haven't seen any picks, fumbles. Like, where is this, fire in the New England defense? Where is it? And they obviously lost their linebacker, one of their key components for their leading tacklers. So, C.J. Mosley didn't play. You ended up losing one of your linebackers, one of your key components on that D. But where is the fire, out of the other players? Like, where is it? I mean, hell, 93 total yards. Come on. 7 first downs for New England, 26 for the Jets. Yeah, this is definitely a step backwards from the first 2 weeks that we saw out of New England. They won one, they lost one, but they were in both games. This one, they just ran in. Maybe the game would have been closer if it was in Gillette and it was in New England. That way they could have the fans cheering them on, and then maybe they would have had a little bit more offense and maybe a little bit more defensive effort. But being on the road, I mean, someone's got to hold the other guys accountable. First down and 10, Rodgers. I mean, Mahomes is going to end up having, a lot of the records and whatnot. But if you look at fantasy numbers lately, Mahomes really hasn't been good in a couple years. Again, they go obviously heavy to Pacheco, but now Pacheco is hurt. Kelsey's not getting the ball the same type of way. His value is down. So it's like the Chiefs could end up winning the Super Bowl again or getting to the AFC Championship game. But again, it seems like every year it's a different way that they win. Offensively, defensively. And again, they got Xavier Worthy for this top end speed. But if you actually look at Mahomes, compared to other quarterbacks, him and Kelsey have been kind of down. They're still winning games, right? But again, it's not as impressive as it was a couple years ago where they were uber dominant. But again, you have more weapons to be able to distribute the football to. So that's a part of it as well. 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 24-3 Jets. But at the end of the day, Mahomes will be on Mount Rushmore. That's 100% fact. You're going to have Joe Montana, right? You're going to have Peyton Manning. You're going to have Tom Brady. You're going to have Patrick Mahomes. You're going to have that on there. So, third down and 1. First down, Jets. Yeah, Ohtani, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 50-50 club. Representing my cousin, straight from Japan, baby. First player in Major League Baseball history. Hey, it was 40-40 with Canseco with steroids. Now 50-50. He's just a pure-blooded Asian sensation, baby. And then we got Aaron Judge, too, so it's nice to be able to see two guys dominate the league. And you're probably not going to see players like that for a very long time. Handoff. Brees Hall with a short game. Yeah, of course he's not worried about fantasy, guy. But if you actually look at his throwing motion and, he just doesn't look as dominant as he did earlier in his career. It seems like there's a lot more mistakes, that are happening. Some of it is offensive line related and whatnot, execution related, but at the end of the day, if they win, that's all that matters, right? So, yeah, no Judon. Yeah, Bentley is out. Yeah, they got a lot of guys out there. And obviously having Judon go to the Falcons, that was not ideal. But Bentley being out too. But even if you did have Judon, Bentley, and Barmore, Christian in there right now, I mean, what are we talking about point-wise? I mean, the defense might have been able to hold them down to a lower point total, like 16 or 17. But what about the offense? Are you still sitting at 3? Or are you at 6? Are you at 9? Are you at 10? There's a lot of work, for this team. And hopefully they'll be able to, get the right pieces. I like Christian Gonzalez from the Ducks and whatnot, but again, where's the sack lunches? Where's the pressures? Pass incomplete. We haven't seen any picks. We haven't seen any punch outs. Where's the sack lunches? Very few. Where's the plays at on defense? And again, I get it. Some of the guys are out, but Drake May making his debut, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah. Good. And maybe he'll start for the rest of the year. Unless this is just going to be a looky-loo type of let's see what you can do in the last couple minutes here. But maybe this will be the changing of the guard where we're going to have Drake May now for the rest of the year. And yeah, he'll get fucked up. And yeah, he'll screw up. And yeah, he'll get sack lunch. And yeah, he'll get embarrassed. But I think that he'll give you a little bit of flashes, we would hope, where he can throw the ball downfield and make some good plays with his receivers and tight end. Let's go, Drake. Here we go. Let's go. Hell yeah. Maybe 2 games early, but we'll take it. They heard our call. Plus, you have to wait for the starting quarterback to shit the bed like this before you actually make the move. So, again, if Brissett did well, you're not seeing him probably for a few more games. So maybe this will be a blessing in disguise for them. Instead of just having a backup quarterback vet starting, and now you can at least if you're going to lose, you might as well lose with some exciting players. And we say that with the Mariners as well. If we're going to lose, we might as well have some of the young guys in there instead of fucking Garver or Polanco. If we have options for others, sometimes it's nice to be able to see what some other guys can do. Because we're certain vets, you already know what they can do. There's no surprises. It's like you already know his potential. But with May, you don't really know what you're going to get. Yeah, there are going to be some bad plays, but there might be some good ones too. So we'll see. Brady's statue in Tampa. I mean, New England. I don't know if they would do one in Tampa, even though he is deserving, of one. But it was a team effort. Arians, Brady, fly like a butterfly, sting like AB, even though he's got CTE. Gronk, Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield Jr., Levante David, Devin White, JPP, Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett. Squad. Rodgers or Favre. I mean, they both should have won more than one championship. They only got one each, where they should have probably gotten 2 at least each, but I don't know. I mean, Brett Favre is more likable, but again, if you see what he did, obviously post-football career, stealing the money, he kind of seems like a dirtbag. Aaron Rodgers is voted like probably the most annoying or, player in football, most people do not like Aaron Rodgers unless you're a Jet fan or a Packer fan. So I don't know. I enjoyed watching Brett more than Aaron, but it all depends, if you like those guys or if you're a Packer fan. But both are controversial. That's for damn sure. Elliot's like, damn, I need some points in fantasy. Fucking Ramondre Stevenson shit the bed. Not enough production there. Pass incomplete. And even just Drake May getting the football out of his hands, it seems like it's 10 times faster than Jacoby Brissett. And obviously the offensive line is not giving him any time, but at least Drake May's got a quick release. Catch that! But obviously you're trying to squeeze that football in between two players. If he would have just been patient and waited over the top, there was a receiver that was wide open. He's got the jitters right now for sure. Shotgun set for May. And I truly believe, too, the Patriot players will play harder for Drake May. Like, I'm not saying that they're not playing hard for Jacoby Brissett, but if you look at body language, maybe not in this game because they're down by 21 and the game is over. But if Drake May is the starting quarterback moving forward, you're going to see more, shoulders not shrugged, and you're going to see a little bit more excitement, I think, because they know they have a better chance to get the fucking football. 3rd down and 3. Oh, it takes a big hit. Shouldn't have probably taken off with that run right there. 4th down. Again, getting away from guys when you play at North Carolina is much different when you go to the NFL, and that is a harsh reality right there when you got speared like fucking Goldberg or Roman Reigns. Shit like that happens. Here we go. 1st down, Patriots. Move the chains. And even if the offensive line is still going to be in shambles, Drake gives you a better chance to move the football. And at the end of the day, if you're going to lose games, you might as well have the most exciting players out there. 1st down and 10, May. Little screen pass for a gain of 1 or 2 there. Elliott's losing his mind right now. Yeah, I mean, Jacoby might be the starter, and this might be just garbage time reps, but I wouldn't be butthurt if they moved on from Brissett and they decided to, go with Drake May for the rest of the season. Why not? Do it. I want Michael Penix Jr. in there, but Kirk Cousins ended up having that great throw, and it was a better route by Drake London. That Drake London route was probably one of the best game-winning routes to win a game that I've seen in like 15 years. He just broke the corner off. And again, if Kirk Cousins keeps doing that, we're probably not going to see a whole lot of Michael Penix Jr. this season. But I definitely want to see May and Penix. Obviously the other 3 have struggled mightily. And I know that these guys will also, but, it's kind of the changing of the guard. We like being able to see new players come in. Cade Otton is a type of guy that has good hands, but depending on, the depth chart and, what we got going on, he's really low on the – I know you have a Njoku injury because I spy on your team and I know exactly what you're doing at all times, right? So I hope he ends up doing something for you. But again, it's like you got Rachaad White, you got Bucky Irving, you got Godwin, you got Evans, you got Jalen McMillan. So after all those guys, then – it's Otton. So he's like the 7th or 8th option, but that doesn't mean that he can't get a red zone look for a touchdown. But I don't know, man. I mean, there's a chance that he might be able to get you 10 points every 3rd or 4th game, but a lot of games he might be around that 4 or 5 number, unless, they, specifically target him. But it's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a stack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah. But also, too, you got lucky winning the first 2 games, Elliot. Like I said, if you look at your point total compared to the other people, there's like 3 or 4 people that outscored you that are 1-1. So it's like it's about who you match up against, but also you have to look at who scores the most points. And I think right now Zini has the most points scored, obviously in the first 2 weeks, and then obviously Reflected's up there, and you have to look at that. So sometimes you end up playing a weak individual, but you have to make sure you're putting up the points each week, and that will obviously determine where you're going to be at in the middle of the season as we make that playoff push. But Ramondre Stevenson with that low ass number, I feel for you, man. Like I said, you always have to look at the matchups, and there's always a risk when you end up having a running back going against a good defense, unless it's someone like beast mode, like a Brees, where it doesn't matter what the defense is, he's going to get his, and again, or like a McCaffrey. They're going to get theirs. You might slow them down from not getting 25, but they're still going to get 15 to 18. But a guy like Ramondre Stevenson normally gets, 10 to 20. But if he gets a good defense, there is always a chance where he gets under 5. And that sucks, bro. Drake May, get out of that pocket. Get open. Good block. There you go. Said the steppers are aware. Yeah, I mean, I'm insane, dude. Like, I spend like 4 hours a day on the fantasy app. Like I was mentioning that earlier after you left Reflect. It's like when I'm, doing chores, I'm on the app. When I'm playing with Paisley, I'm on the app. I got plenty of things to be able to research on. My team, your team, every other team's bench. I go through all your guys' weeks to see when you guys have your weakest week. When you have the most guys on a bye, I go and click on fucking a billion names a day. All the quarterbacks, all the fucking wide receivers, the running back. I mean, if you want to be able to know what you're doing, you got to put in the work. But I don't expect anyone to do what I do. I'm fucking insane with fantasy. But also, too, by putting in all that work, there's a reason why I haven't finished any lower than 3rd ever. So you put in the work and you have the intelligence, as long as you don't get hit with injuries, you're going to have a chance. But unfortunately, Cooper Kupp and CMC going down, I'm missing 50 points a week. I should be projected for 130, 140 every week, and I'm sitting at fucking 100 to 120. Not good, but hopefully those guys will come back, and then I can start mashing. I just have to stay afloat until those guys come back. Shotgun set for May. 3rd down and 10. There we go. Oh, and complete. Come on, number 3. Yeah, but I shit the bed. I mean, again, 4 spots out of 9. 4 spots out of 9 with 9 or less. I did not expect AR to be that shitty. And I didn't expect Evans to get a 7. I didn't expect Laporta to get a fucking 3. And then obviously if you have an injury during a game, you lose 99% of the time. And obviously you had an injury with Mixon, but you had enough. And that's why I wanted Jalen Hurts as my quarterback, because I know that he typically doesn't get hurt and he's going to get points on the ground and in the air. But you picked him before I could. But that was the guy that I wanted. I wanted Allen or Hurts. That's who I wanted in fantasy this year. And I had to settle for AR, but now I have Baker. So I'm not going to be playing AR until the matchup is good. I got to stick with Baker. Get out of it, Drake. Another sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, but you're not going to play Aaron Rodgers against the Pats D when you have Lamar, I mean, like I said, some games are going to be like this for the Jets, but other games, it could have been the complete opposite. Like if the game was in New England. I'm not saying that New England would have won 24-3, but the game would have been a hell of a closer if the game was in Gillette, I believe. They would have had more than fucking 3 points. And probably Ramondre Stevenson would have got a touchdown. I could almost put money on that. So. Well, nobody's going undefeated in this league. I mean, we got a lot of talented people in this league. And again, don't be, like I said, nobody's going undefeated. In the past, we would have people that would maybe lose one game, maybe two, and there would be two powerhouse teams and then 8 others. But I think in this particular league, we're going to have 6 really strong, 2 that are close, and then you're going to have 2 at the bottom, and we just have to be able to keep grinding it out. And at least at this moment, obviously we know Chief's team is the worst, and I don't know if he's trying or not, but if you play him, you're going to get a win, unless he starts really trying to put it together, but other than that, everyone else is going to be bringing it. So final score, Jets 24, Patriots 3. And a lot of you guys have like I'll be honest, after I spy on your guys' teams, a lot of your guys' teams are pretty sexy. Like when I'm actually looking at like the rosters, I'm like, this could be a team that would be mine. Like when I look at Megan's team and like, some of the pieces there, I'm like, well, this is kind of nice. She just has to be able to not have injuries. And then I look at like Oreo and Reflect. I'm looking at some of your guys' rosters and, not every player, on your guys' roster I would have on my team, but there's some. And, if you can just be able to, just not get injured. Don't be like me, and don't be like Chief Will Chief. Chief Will Chief got hurt the most. If you look at his team, I mean, he's got more red and yellow and IR and guys that are banged up. And the thing is that he picked Puka and A.J. Brown in his first 2 picks, and they're both hurt. So obviously he didn't go enough with running back, and that was his bugaboo. He should have went wide receiver, running back, and maybe this doesn't happen, but maybe it does. But anytime you end up going wide receiver, and they both get hurt right away, you're in a very bad spot, and it depends on and he also went Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels back-to-back. So in hindsight, it's good because at least he has someone to back up. But if he would have went for more skill position players, maybe he wouldn't be in the position that he's in. So, we already know how fantasy is, but I wish everyone the best of luck. Injuries are definitely going to be the deciding factor this year, on who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. I think that a lot of the lineups and a lot of the expertise is there. The wire is very thin. I've never seen the wire this thin in the first 2 weeks. Like, you guys have been doing a great job. Plus, you got people in the league that are going to be up in the middle of the night just, trying to, upgrade their team when everyone else is sleeping. Me, but and a few others that are in the room. So Chris in the building, what's good? Man, New England offensive line didn't come to play. Injuries galore. Definitely one-sided and not the New England Patriot team that we saw in the first 2 weeks. So it definitely was a blowout, but I don't think necessarily New England is this bad, and I don't think the Jets are this good. It's kind of somewhere in between, but the Jets ended up dominating today. Yeah, and again, when you got a guy like Achan, like, why aren't you playing him? So, and I know sometimes he plays 2, 3, 4, 5 leagues, and if I would have known that he wasn't gonna actually try, I could have had someone else play in the league. That's why, like, when Matt wasn't playing in the first week, I said, come on, bro, you can be mad about whatever's going on, but try. Don't just get, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want anyone to give up. And I get it. Usually in every fantasy league, 10 to 12 man league, you're going to have one person quit. But usually it's at the end of the year, when there's like a month left and they just gave up because they're, whatever their record is, 0-8, or 1-7 or whatever it is. But every year in fantasy, you're always going to get one person, typically the person in last place, that quit. But I normally don't see people give up in the first 2 weeks. But again, injuries hit him really hard. But again, if you would have worked the wire, and tried to be able to at least put your best foot forward, maybe something could have come out of it. But injuries are a motherfucker. That's how it goes. Yeah, I know. That's why I had to get on him, because again, I got lots of people that always email me or message me wanting to be a part of the league, but I purposely tried to have regulars so we could do it for the very first time in 8 years, where we don't have anyone that's not a regular, someone that's just a fucking looky-loo that, once in a while maybe watches a video, never comes in the live streams, maybe watches reaction videos, and that's it. I want to be able to have people that we can interact with throughout the year. But, hopefully nobody gives up, too early and whatnot. But again, even though it looks bad early on, you can, if you put the effort in, you can turn your shit around, but maybe it was intimidation, by looking at all the teams in the league, and maybe Chief just looked at everyone else's team like Reflect and me, and Oreo and Megan, and thought, fuck, I'm done, and just said, fuck it, but I just really would have loved to have everyone try at least towards the end of the season. And then if you give up, I'm still kind of irritated, but because that gives a free win to whoever that team is playing, but I guess it is what it is. I can't control what other people do. So Calvin in the building. What's good, bro? Nollan Saints. Who dat? But luckily, the season is long, so, even if you lose a few times, again, there's 4 spots in the playoffs, and again, it's going to be very competitive. There's going to be really big weeks, and there's going to be upsetting down weeks. The main thing is, you're going to lose games in fantasy by putting the wrong players in, right? But the main thing is you're going to be all right as long as you don't have serious injuries. That's the thing that will derail you. As long as you don't have those, you'll be fine. And you got to make sure that you have good depth on the bench to replace those guys. If not, then you're fucked. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints win that game. Eagles have not been good. They're 2-9 going back to last year. So if you can set the tone early with AK-41, yeah, they can match it with Saquon. But what about after that? I would actually be thinking that, at some point the Bucs and Saints good luck is going to run out. But I definitely think the Eagles, are going to be more of a competition than the Broncos for me this week. So I think I'm going to go 3-0. But I think the Saints have a very good chance to go 3-0 as well. We're disrespected. We are the most disrespected conference in football, NFC South. Because no matter when we're good or bad, no one wants to ever give us credit. And again, the Saints fan base, obviously, is going to rub people the wrong way. But for me, I get along with them. They're just extremely passionate, but sometimes a little hard-headed and a little crazy, at times. But again, they got the right pieces, and the main piece is Kubiak. AK is healthy. Kubiak is there. Olave is a monster. You got all the pieces clicking on all cylinders. And, I really do hope the Saints and the Bucs, both make the playoffs, and we just beat the fuck out of everybody. Obviously we know the Seahawks are getting disrespected as well. And again, sometimes, you got to be able to go out there and prove to everyone that you are legit and you are the real deal Holyfield. So. You're not the only one. I have too. And again, my favorite reaction video to do every week is the Saints. Just because I'm not probably the only Buck fan that they respect on planet Earth. So again, because I can do a better reaction than most. And again, I just got to keep it honest and keep it real. Yeah, finally. Again, Kubiak, AK-41 not being suspended for the first 4 games. We know Jamal Williams isn't good enough to be the starter there. So there's a lot of things that are, coming into play. Not having to worry about Michael Thomas anymore. It's like sometimes you got to get out with the old and get in with the new. And Rashid Shaheed and Olave, they got something cooking there. So, damn right, as they should be. We're both 2-0. We have a good chance both to go 3-0. And yeah, and any power rankings that doesn't have the Bucs and the Saints in the top 5 is not a real list. And also the Seahawks should be in the top 10 as well. Like, why are we having teams that are popular that are 1-1 ahead of teams? Now, again, if the Minnesota Vikings and the Chargers are 2-0 and you don't believe in them, that's fine. Herbert, Sam Darnold, okay, they had an easy schedule, whatever. But for the Hawks, and the Saints and the Bucs, those all should be in the top 10. If you don't want to have the Vikings and Chargers in there and you're hating on them, fine. But, there's definitely a difference between, the teams that are real contenders and the ones that might be pretenders, but they might actually be better than people think. So. Mason Tipton. All right, it's in my brain now. Mason Tipton. Hell yeah. And then obviously with your lineman from Oregon State, it's like, again, anytime you end up getting a solid player from the Pac-12, again, I know a lot of the Saints fans weren't really too familiar with his game, but you're gonna get good production, And again, Taylor at corner, you're getting a lot of the players that are doing their role and they're going above and beyond. So. Yeah, might be one of the more underrated linebackers in this generation, like Levante David. Never getting enough credit. Great leader, sideline to sideline. And again, I might be a Buck fan, but I'm not a hater. So anything I can do photo-wise for you, Reflect, before we go? I'm going to go take Paisley for a walk. I got family here in the house that isn't feeling too well, but I got to take Paisley for a walk, eat some dinner and whatnot. We'll be live tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific for the Rangers and the Mariners. But if there's anyone that, Zay, you want photos based on your dono, I got you. Reflect, you as well. But if there's anybody that wants any photos, let me know. I obviously want to give you the opportunity before the stream ends. But if it's not something that you really care about and you just want to support the channel, I understand that as well. Final score, Jets 24, Patriots 3. I was really hoping it would be closer for Britt and for Judah, that it might be like a 24-20 kind of game. Jets win. It's like close, but, or maybe Patriots win, but this wasn't the case. So, all right, good night, Britt. Good job with your draft. You're supporting. Okay, I appreciate you, man. It means a lot, Zay. I know I'm always going to be pumping out those reaction videos, and I know you'll be watching. You and Calvin comment on there, on every single one. Let them know what's up and how you guys feel. And again, I get the most joy, doing the Saints reaction video out of any team, even my own. Like, I should enjoy doing my own team's reaction video when we win more than the Saints, but I think it's just the fact that I have the love and respect from the rival fan base, and you can't put that into words. It's a very rare thing. Like, extremely. Like, I don't know if there's anybody else on social media that has what I have, based on being a Buck fan and getting Saint representation. It's just not common. So Saints fans do show out. They do. Anything you want to see? Reflect? Everything good? All right. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. You guys are the best. Keep me updated, Calvin, with any of sleeper players on the Saints. Same thing with Zay and Elliott. I always need to be able to be on the up and up on the videos. I'm always going to be watching film on you guys as well. You guys are awesome. Shout out to Elliott, Calvin, Sarah, Reflect, Megan, Zay, Britt, all you guys. I love you and I appreciate you. Britt, hopefully it ends up getting better. And I don't know if we're going to get Drake May moving forward, but hopefully. And I appreciate you. Sarah, you as well. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. I'll be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific for the Rangers and Mariners, and I'm out. Gang.